this thing's automatically going to switch because sometimes it switches and sometimes it doesn't. I don't know if it will or not.
The little doohickey at the bottom.
Oh, there we go. We want to switch to this one. This is what.
There's people. Hey, everybody!
People are already.
Look at that. The chatters are already chatting.
They're chatting up a storm.
What do you know?
They're chatting up a storm. Everybody.
Oh, how's it going, everybody?
Man, things are happening.
Everybody feeling good, feeling confident about the, voting on the end of our own democracy. That's a weird thing to do. Huh?
I told Tom this earlier, but I was there was something in the New York Times today where there was an opinion piece from 4 different people. It was a conversation that they recorded, and one of them said, "I'm going to lean Trump mainly because on his side he has the economy and immigration, but and all Kamala Harris has on her side is women's rights and democracy."
Democracy.
Dude,
it's like, holy shit.
How fucking crazy is this?
Oh, man.
You know what Trump also has?
Everybody? How are we in this time?
You know what Trump also has? I don't know if you guys have heard this, but...
Amber.
Yeah, baby. Come on. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. This is not AI.
What?
Hell yeah. Come on. Yes. I do. All right.
Actually, I've been places and Ian dances just like Trump.
It's true.
Ian dances just
I
like
do the double hand.
He looks just like him. No, he does the jack off in your face, dude. That's what he does. Yeah. Put it in my beard. Put it in my beard. Put it in my beard. Put it in my beard.
All over.
Oh my God. Ian, why is this still happening?
How much more do you want to listen to?
How long is this?
There's no way I'm listening to this entire thing.
All right.
How long?
You forced me to listen to the egg for it's like 4 minutes.
I'm just telling you.
Well, you're paid.
It depends. It also depends on like how things are going. We may watch a lot of Headhunter tonight.
Look, Ian, when you send me a check, I'll watch whatever fucking videos.
Good point. Fair point.
You know,
fair point. That's a fair point.
When I'm sending you money, you watch my videos.
I'll put up the fucking anxiety-inducing needles, guys.
Fuck those needles make me want to stick a fucking needle in my arm.
I'll play some more later, chat. Don't worry.
Some anxiety-inducing needles up. What do you think?
Cecil, I was thinking as I was driving up, like, I am almost 2 years since I've had a drink, and I've not missed it a day, but today.
Today is the day.
Like, genuinely.
Today is the day.
Without, like, hyperbole, I was like, I feel like a fucking, a drink would be all right. Just like a little touch of the edge off.
Okay. Today would be okay. Yeah,
but,
the
I'd
needles,
never miss it.
The needles haven't moved in the last several minutes. Now they just moved. They just moved. God
they moved a little in the wrong direction, Cecil.
I'm switching off.
Don't look at it.
God.
Switch it off. We're gonna tag out. We're gonna tag out of the needles.
Oh, the January 6th Animaniacs. Okay, I'll bring that up. That's
you
a
can't.
classic.
They deleted it.
What?
They deleted the January 6th
Animaniacs.
Animaniacs?
That January 6th Animaniacs thing that they had to delete it. They had to get taken. It got taken down.
Oh, that's true.
Oh no!
Yeah, it was awesome though.
It was so good.
Yeah, it was super great. Yeah. So, you know, I think going into this, Tom.
Yeah.
I felt, you know, we're in a bubble. Mm-hmm. So we constantly talk about things that, you know, interest us. And I'm completely biased, right? 100% biased.
Yeah.
And I felt like pretty good energy moving into this. And I saw today the polls coming back, the number of people that almost always benefits the Democrats.
Yeah.
Their base is almost always motivated. The base of newer voters is almost always harder to motivate.
Right.
So getting those people out to vote is a big deal. And so I was a little optimistic this morning, but as the day wore on, I have been less optimistic.
Yes, it's been a tough one.
It's
been a really tough one.
It's tough.
Yeah.
I want to be optimistic. Because I think, like, you know, you beat him in 2020. He didn't come close in 2020, really. When you think about like the popular vote, he got crushed
in the popular vote.
This campaign looked like it was way more energetic than the Biden campaign before.
Yeah.
Like, not before he quit, but I'm saying like in 2020, it felt like it was more energetic.
Mm-hmm.
She handled him in the debates. I thought all of it looked like it was sort of panning out. So
I
that's
think-
why I'm a little surprised that some of these states early aren't producing numbers that I thought they would be producing.
Yeah. So far, like, you know, in 2020, most of the swing states were within a point or so. So it was still like, even though it wasn't close on a popular vote level, and actually the electoral college totals weren't actually that close. It's just that most of those swing states were within a point.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a frighteningly small margin that just takes a little bit. And the problem with people, I think, is that people have a really short fucking memory.
Yeah.
So like it's a lot easier to beat a guy who just ran than to beat a guy who ran 4 years ago.
True. No, that's true.
There's so many people that attribute, like, because their people are fucking like stupid. So there's people that attribute like the lockdowns to Biden.
Yeah.
He wasn't president during any of the coronavirus pandemic lockdowns. Trump oversaw 100% of those. Literally all of them, no exceptions. But people attribute that or misattribute a lot of stuff.
There's low information voters.
Yeah.
All the low information.
Yeah, well, like low memory voters.
Yeah, right.
Like, because they're just not even remembering things.
Information.
Yeah,
guess, so.
it's like they don't even have information about their own experience on a timeline, Cecil. Like, just, I don't know, man. There was like, I was voting this morning. I voted this afternoon. And I'm looking around and like, there was like some fucking goober and fucking camo pants. And I was like, maybe you shouldn't be allowed to vote, you know, like you should just go hunting or something. Like, you shouldn't be here. What, like, there's, you know, we're in the fucking suburbs. I see you. Camo or no, I fucking eyes on, you know, like,
I was watching.
Fuck.
I think I saw Heath was in there. Is Heath here?
Heath is here, but he just ran away.
Okay. Well, when he comes back, you can just drop him in. Okay. I was watching Pernacki, is that his name? Pernacki, Matt Pernacki, whatever.
Pernacki.
The guy who's from MSNBC. I was watching him talk earlier, and he's got 2 counties up. And he's like, we really want to watch this county here because the number of people here voted this way, and then if they change, then it'll go this way.
Like
and he's
Bellwether County
these other 2 counties. And I'm like, I don't want to live in a country where I have to look at how a fucking county did. Can I just look at how the fucking United States did, please?
Dude, I know.
Why do I have to constantly fucking dig in these tiny little places? The only places that matter are these places that are tightly contested, because those are the places that could flip one way or the other, and those are the only places that matter. The rest of the map doesn't matter.
Dude, can you imagine, seriously, like, can you imagine right now being on the fucking battlefield in Ukraine?
Yeah.
And thinking to yourself, whether or not I live or die probably depends on Erie County, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, right, yeah.
There's some fucking guy with a fucking, like, next to the fucking Amish farm or whatever, who's going to decide whether we have NATO or not.
Yeah. Some guy who's mad that a woman's running.
Yes.
Is going to be the one who winds up making it so that people in Ukraine aren't free anymore.
Right. It's fucking insane.
Yeah, man, it's crazy.
It's insane what is happening right. Like, none of this should be any of this.
You don't think trees should vote? How dare you?
And that's what most of it is, right? All of this is like fucking, like, there's a lot of
called Illinois.
Illinois.
Chat, what are you drinking tonight, chat?
What's chat drinking?
I made election cake,
What's that?
What the fuck is election cake?
It starts with rum, and then you put brandy and wine and beer into it, and then rum, and then more rum, and then
you don't even drink.
I don't drink, but it's a lot.
But I love cake.
Are you drinking tonight for real?
I'm drinking tonight. Well, no, it is. Election cake is a real thing. It's a Connecticut thing, actually. It's like a traditional 1700s thing, but it is like kind of a fruitcake thing, like brandy and raisins and shit. It's pretty dope.
THC seltzer.
THC seltzer. Get it. Come on.
Whiskey, Buffalo Trace. I had 2 different whiskeys
No
pulled out
Malort?
earlier.
No
one
Malort?
depression whiskey and one
celebratory whiskey.
Celebratory whiskey, and I may go down and get them later. We'll see. So, yeah,
man,
it's rough. It's rough.
It is something else. It is something else.
I want to be optimistic though. Like, there's a part of me that wants
I'm going to just decide to be optimistic. Look, there's no surprises in the first states. That's what the New York Times is saying. That's what's on there.
That's what you
Of course there's not. Let's look at the states that are called. Did we think that anything was going to be different?
I mean, like,
did we think we were going to get Indiana, Kentucky? Nobody fucking cares.
Are you here, Heath?
Heath is almost there. Hold on.
Okay.
Now he's
What
still.
did you just put up there? Is that a
This
cake?
is the election cake. That's what it looks like. It's pretty good. You should Do it.
It looks like it's got a lot of liquor in it.
It does.
Okay.
It's it's a yeast cake, so that you put beer and yeast, and then that's how it blooms, and that's it's leavening, I guess, stuff like that. Yada yada. Anyway, for anybody who cares,
You should ship me one. I don't want to make it.
I'll
You
make
should
it.
ship me a cake.
Sure, I will.
Make me
Actually,
a cake.
It probably lasts. It probably will last.
Sarah's going to bed. Everybody.
Night night, Sarah.
Sarah, for the Cogdis, Sarah is going to bed.
I don't blame her.
I don't blame
She's
her.
such a sleepyhead. It's
Just
only
sleeping straight through it. I wish.
Gosh, Sarah.
Yeah. I wish I could just lay on the fucking couch for the rest of the night and watch fucking Mudang videos.
Oh.
What is a Mudang video?
Oh, you don't know Mudang?
No, I don't know what Mudang
Mudang's
is.
a baby hippo.
Oh.
And he eats watermelon. And it's
I
super cute.
fucking love it.
First off,
I've seen a whole
second off,
big hippos eat.
No, this
watermelons.
is a baby.
Well,
It's Mudang.
I don't know if you're gonna like Mudang that much because I don't know if you saw what happened, but she chose Trump. I don't know if you saw this video. Here, there's 2 watermelon or fruit cakes or something like that.
Eat
It
the one
apparently
with-
says Donald Trump.
Well,
So
then
she picked
she's
Trump.
Well, that's great.
Trump.
She's gonna turn it into shit. That's
It's
what we
shit
want.
Trump out. That's
You know what? That's a good point.
right.
I didn't think
Yeah.
about that.
Mudang has her own theme song.
Mother ate.
Awesome.
Come on. Kamala. Okay, wait. And joining us now, the one and only.
Oh my god.
Hey,
There we
it's
go.
Oh, look at that.
Hopefully we can hear him.
What's
Wow.
up, everybody?
Hey,
Hey.
Heath.
how's
What's
things?
happening?
How Heath? Let's start out. How excited?
What am I drinking? A lot. I'm drunk. I haven't paid attention to any of the numbers. I'm a low information voter to go with the theme today. Ready to fucking go. Let's elect something. I don't know.
Dude, that's exactly how it feels, man.
God, it really feels like that so much.
I mean, you're in a swing state, though. You live in an actual swing state. How
Yeah.
was your voting experience? Did you go to the
It was
polls
so much more important than yours.
today?
It was great. I love how democracy works. My vote's like 1 billion times more important than everybody except 6 other states.
It is so funny.
that
dude.
does make a lot of sense.
Oh,
That it
God.
does not make any
Are
sense.
you in a mostly blue county?
Yeah, I'm in one of the few all the way blue counties in Michigan, and they better fucking add up. So it's basically Detroit and Ann Arbor and some surrounding Detroit, and a little bit of,
Yeah.
you got Grand Rapids, a couple other cities where you get some blue, but that's about it.
So did you vote today or did you vote ahead of time?
I voted the day I got my mail-in ballot.
That's what I
Right
did.
Okay,
away.
you mailed it in. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't
And
know. I didn't
There's
know-
a tracker which was like, hey, if you think there's shenanigans, that's fair. We will tell you that we definitely got your vote and it got recorded, and they did. So
Oh, that's great.
Oh, that is great. Yeah.
So is Michigan one of the states that tallies votes from the mail-in vote right away? Because I know in Pennsylvania, they're not even allowed to open the ballots ahead of time. They can't begin the process of even opening envelopes for mail-in
Yeah.
ballots until today.
I know Michigan's going to be one of the later ones, but I don't think they have quite the same rule as Pennsylvania that they can't touch them until the last second. We do have county by county, so it's like very local in terms of how it's counted, and it's going to take a while, is what I'm told for Michigan.
Yeah, they did Georgia different this time, and they basically released all those ballots, every mail-in ballot. Because remember last time
it was
they couldn't count them until afterwards, and there was that big red mirage early.
Mhm.
And now they dumped a shit ton of ballots, and I don't know if they're fully in the system yet, but they said that they had a certain amount of time to sort of get all those ballots in after because they've already counted all those ballots. Like 4 million votes were already counted.
Yeah, my understanding is we'll know Georgia very quickly tonight.
Yeah.
We'll know North Carolina very quickly tonight. My impression is if those do go blue,
That's a good.
that's
night.
our night.
That's a good night.
That's our night. We
Yeah.
all get to be like, all right, cool. I can shit again. That'll be good. My asshole won't be just creating like little fucking rock hard shit diamonds.
Yeah,
and just
I'm
clenching.
switching from well whiskey to the good stuff. If that- Very exciting.
I have one of each downstairs waiting for me. So I'm either going to get off the air and drink a well whiskey, or I'm going to get off the air and drink a really expensive whiskey. We'll see. Let's see.
So, all right, Heath, you're an economics guy. I am curious if Trump does win tonight, on a scale from 0 to 10, 10 being devastating, 0 being no change, which would be the best case scenario, I think. What do you think the impact on the economy will be?
Okay, it's going to sound crazy when I say this, so stay with me.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be as catastrophic as it's made out to be. It's just going to be about like who it's catastrophic for, which is most fucking people.
Okay, that sounds pretty catastrophic,
Right.
though. I don't think it's going to be catastrophic except for most people.
You haven't sold it to me.
The Heath and Wright story.
Yeah.
You haven't sold it to me, but continue.
Yeah. All right. So I'll try to have I'm going to do a little bit of nuance here, just a little bit.
Oh.
So if I'm going to try to grant any positive thing to Donald Trump's economic, obviously it's economic injustice. That's the Republican Party. That's what Trump does. So wealth disparity gets worse. We already saw it for 4 years, giant tax cuts for the rich, big corporations. First thing he did, very successful with it. What I think the one thing that he did maybe do okay is, we should honestly admit it, a little bit of the China policy actually, I think, is better for our place in that international economic situation. I think like the tariffs on China in particular, the fact that it does protect the protectionism of it. It does protect some amount of our domestic jobs or our domestic manufacturers. There's like a thing going on there that even the Biden administration was like, yeah, all right, we're not getting rid of that. In fact, we're going to ramp that up a little bit. That is one little piece. I'm going to be the piece of shit, like, centrist once in a while today. This is one of those times.
Yeah. So I'm curious about, that's why I want to ask. I'm curious about that. My worry is everything I've been reading about the tariffs that he's proposing point to those tariffs really being inflationary in result, which would definitely mean that we'd be looking at, higher interest rates for a longer period of time, increased costs of borrowing, reduced home ownership, higher costs for cars, credit cards, shit like that.
That sounds awesome.
I'm trying to figure out where the upside here is. Like and then coupling decisions of the Fed. He wants to couple the Fed to the presidency.
Oh, that's just a disaster. That's a disaster.
I just like that because what worries me is that he couples the Fed to the presidency, lowers interest rates in a period of rising inflation, and then the inflationary cycle runs away on us. But does this seem far-fetched, Heath? Where do you think on this?
So depending on the tariff, any tariff theoretically falls upon a consumer in terms of the price.
Right.
And then it's a two-sided coin. The idea is, okay, we're going to pay more for certain things because tariffs were put on them. So an import becomes more expensive. If people want to buy those things, it costs more. So that, again, falls on the majority of people, depending on what product we're talking about. The other side of the coin is we do theoretically protect domestic manufacturers of that same product. So there's some advantage to theoretically, assuming trickle-down economics works the way it definitely should and has.
This feels like
assuming trickle-down economics works.
I feel like I'm already crushing
right. So to be clear about the nuance, no, it's terrible for the economy. Donald Trump's bad.
Yeah.
So I have a game I want to play with you guys while we wait for some of these things to come in, some of these results as they get tallied in. So Heath, are you ready for a game?
Yeah, I love games.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, today's just a lighthearted day.
It's a lighthearted,
hey, let's have a good time, guys.
Little game.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to ask people now. I'm going to ask I know Tom can't see it, but I'm going to ask Heath. Please don't look at chat because I'm sure they're going to say an answer. There's normally a time delay, so it won't be too bad. But I just they might answer for you. So the game is which happened first, and so the pandemic and a Trump presidency has really played havoc.
Trump presidency,
internal clocks.
Trump presidency happened first.
I have a list of things that happened during Trump's presidency, and I want to ask you which one happened first. So we're going to start with Trump holds a salute to America. Now, this is a event the Trump administration held. It's in Washington, D.C. It took place on the National Mall. It included presentations of U.S. military vehicles, had a flyover, and Trump addressed people from the Lincoln Memorial. There's a ton of critics. They said it was a political event. and it wasn't really.
Oh, that was his like Royals moment, and he did a bunch of this shit.
Yeah,
and, like,
where he wanted to do the dictator thing, and so he did it. It was called a salute to America.
Didn't he decide to do that after he saw like a Russian parade of their missiles and shit?
They had mentioned that he really liked the way those looked, and he wanted one of his own. So he did one of his own.
Yeah.
Can we get Trump playing hockey or doing like equestrian with no shirt or something? let's really lean into this.
Moobs flopping in the air.
Okay. So that happened,
Yeah,
or
that did.
Either that one happened first, or the Russian bounty program when Russia intelligence paid bounties to the Taliban-linked militants for killing American soldiers. So which
Russian
one was
bounty
it?
program?
What?
Bounty program.
I have to say bounty program came first. I think the other one happened in 2019.
Yeah, so the bounty program came after.
Really?
Yeah, June of 2020. June of 2020 was a wild time.
To be fair to Heath and I, June of 2020 did take 7 years.
And to be fair to Heath and you, June of 2020 was when it was found out. So chances are it happened before then. So
well, and that was like right after the pandemic ended, right? So it was like there was the thing with the
people were outside.
Everybody got a cold, but then it was like, no, when May comes, we're all good, and then June we were fine.
Yeah, that's
Jesus Christ.
You know, one day you're just going to look up and it's going to be gone.
Disappear like magic. It'll go away like magic. Like magic. It's like a flu.
Another one. Let's do another one really quickly.
Let's go.
Which happened first? The Unite the Right rally.
Jesus fucking
which
shit.
is white supremacist rally that took place in Charlottesville, Virginia.
Or
Kellyanne Conway saying alternative facts on Meet the Press.
Alternative facts, I think I remember first.
I think it's the other way around.
It's not. It's alternative facts.
Shit.
Listen to when these happened. Alternative facts, January 22nd, 2017. He was in office for 2 days. He was in office 2 days, and she rolled out alternative facts.
And she had to write a phrase to say lie without saying lie on day 2. To invent something.
Yeah, it took her 2 days to workshop.
Well, she was probably like, they probably caught her like while she was in the middle of like brushing up on her literature, and she's like, hang on, I'm gonna put down this 1984 here, and then what did you say? What did you need me to do? Sorry, can you double speak up? Can you double speak up? I don't know that I heard you.
Yeah. So a friend of mine has a brewery, and one of their best-selling beers is called Truth IPA. And when that happened, I was like, dude, you got to make alternative facts IPA. he really wanted to do it. And he couldn't convince like the board of directors or whatever it was that like also had votes that like, we should definitely do alternative facts because it was in Cincinnati. And they were like, listen, there's too many fucking assholes around here in Ohio.
We want them to buy our beer. Yeah. Oh, God.
All right. Well,
let's
see how we're looking. Looking not great so far, but
exactly how we thought. Still
exactly how we thought. No surprises.
So, can somebody explain? Somebody smarter than me explain something to me.
Cecil, it's all you.
Why is
smarter than Tom?
Why the fuck am I looking at the needles with everything? No surprises in the first states being called. All of the swing states still a toss up. Georgia.
Well, let's see how Texas is doing.
But the needle still points. Why would the needle not be fucking like right in the center right now? Why are they leaning right on the needle?
Oh, theoretically, there's still votes to count. It's just almost certain that like it doesn't matter. Like they have enough info that they think they can call it, but it's not 100% because all the votes aren't quite.
But I'm saying like I'm saying like the needle for the total election. The total election needle is leaning right, even though. When I look at all of the information that's in, there's not enough information for me to say it's leaning right or left right now.
Oh, okay. So the needle has moved to the right because of the calling of states that we knew were going to go right.
Which makes no sense to me.
Yeah. But isn't it based on the number of states and the ratio? Blue
like how does the needle? Does anyone know how the needle works?
The needle is
a lie.
Create anxiety in you, Tom. That's literally why it's there.
Can we not?
It doesn't exist for any other purpose.
The needle hurts me, Cecil. The needle hurts me like it's reading a Jonah Lehrer book to me and telling me it's a lie. The needle hurts me.
Jonah Lehrer. The plagiarist. I'm looking at this this Senate race in Texas, and
what do we got?
So far,
we pretty much. I mean, like
close.
our only shot at the Senate is getting that and a couple other longer shots.
Oh God, I would love to see fucking Ted Cruz lose, please.
I would take losing the Senate now if just Ted Cruz could lose, because I'm almost sure we're gonna lose either way.
Yeah.
I can guarantee all red wins. I would take it.
Ugh, gross.
Everything is just
it's early.
Terrible.
It's still early. It's still
early.
early.
So let's talk a little bit about some of what I don't understand. Virginia. I know this will take a long time too, because there's a lot in this world I don't understand. We're gonna touch it. Virginia, all right, says 50% is in.
Mhm.
New York Times estimate is lean Dem. Margin Trump plus 1.1.
That's because they still have to count a bunch of votes from places where they expect a lot of Democrats.
So what are they saying the margin is then? There's the
margin is
counted
what
votes?
it is now. The margin is what it is now. It's a current margin.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll take it.
Yeah. So but it doesn't look. I mean, it doesn't look terrible.
What are the odds on Virginia right now, or what were
it
they
just
going?
says
it's saying it's leaning Democrat.
Yeah,
I suspect at this point there's just a ton of places that they just don't have all the votes in that are around these blue areas. You got 40% in Roanoke County only. And, there's 15 a bunch of people there. There's, and again, a lot of these, you don't know exactly how big some of these counties are, right? Some of these counties look like they've already dumped a bunch of votes, but you just don't know how big some of these counties are. Like this one only has 7% of the vote in, and it looks like it's the heart of Richmond. So that tells you that probably is going to have a lot more votes coming in, and they're probably going to be, most cities, big cities tend to lean Democrats. So, and depends on the margin, what they're expecting the margin to be.
So polls, Richmond is huge and disorganized. Counts are going to take a while.
Oh, that's good.
Richmond alone.
Okay.
Yeah.
It feels like it's going to be blue where there are people more.
Dude,
that's if there's society, it's a bluer place. So why are we counting the other ones? I don't care.
Are there universities and museums? Yeah. Because if there's universities and museums, there's people with good fucking sense and they vote blue. Like if it's a fucking, Bass Pro Shops and a fucking dive bar, then yeah, it's red, but those people don't count and they shouldn't be allowed to vote.
Did you guys see this map? It was on Twitter. This was the searches for Kamala on our SNL or Kamala and Peanut the squirrel. Did you hear about the whole Peanut the squirrel?
Peanut the squirrel?
Yeah.
Peanut the squirrel was
so Peanut got killed by the liberal bureaucrats in New York.
What?
And became
he was euthanized. It was like a rabbit, potentially rabbit squirrel, because it bit like one of the animal whatever welfare agents, whatever you call it.
Was this an Instagram squirrel?
But yes, TikTok, and that's also TikTok, and also apparently the TikToker is a sex worker, the guy. So that's an interesting little wrinkle. And I don't think the squirrel was part of that, but he was using it to launder through whatever. It doesn't matter.
Both of them are showing their nuts.
So anyway, these are the search results. So this could be the Electoral College. Based on search results. So it's a big right wing kind of conspiracy thing.
It's the squirrel sex trafficking.
Wait a minute. What you're showing me is what this is where people are Googling about Kamala Harris and the squirrel.
Yeah.
And then you superimpose that and say this is how people are going to vote.
Well, basically the Peanut the squirrel is more likely searched in the red states and the SNL appearance.
Okay, so according to this, I like this. We've got Minnesota on lock. Right. Wisconsin looks good. Michigan's good. It could be worse. What's the number?
If you look, I don't know. Actually, that's a good point. What is
that number? Is that a win?
Hey, if Pennsylvania was blue, we got a really good shot.
I was gonna say that's the whole shebang right there.
I think that was a win.
If Pennsylvania's blue, that's the blue wall, right? I just can't see it well enough from here.
That's it. Yeah, Pennsylvania.
Fucking Ohio,
Virginia,
man.
North Carolina.
I can't believe I lived there.
How many times are you gonna say that tonight, right? Fucking Ohio.
And we got to get Sherrod Brown, and that's probably not happening.
Well, you were in a relatively blue area in Cincy.
Yeah, there was society where I was in Ohio, and so it's a blue area.
I
don't understand Ohio.
Well, the thing about Ohio is that one, crazy thing is I never realized this, but like Columbus is the biggest city. And you never hear, you always think, oh, that's not that, but it is. It's the biggest city is Columbus by like a wide margin. And the other thing is like the other ones are all kind of small. They're all pretty small.
Yeah,
you
got Cleveland, Columbus, and Cincinnati, and then the rest of the state's red.
We got Dayton, right? Isn't Dayton?
Toledo's in there.
Dayton is, Dayton's small, but close to Cincinnati and kind of blue.
Texas is red. CNN is calling.
Yeah, of course.
Well,
yeah.
Well, the moment that changes, I mean, it's not this year, I guess, but the moment that changes, it's just like, oh,
that's over.
Hey, you can't be a party of hate fascism anymore. You have to at least lose one of those words, maybe, or something. I'm not there yet.
You gotta pick one. You gotta make a decision. Yeah.
Oh shit, the fucking bed. This is like, of course we weren't going to take Texas. It was never really in play. It's been purple-ish, but not even really purple. It's been red. Like, let's not.
Also, it seems like there's like red flight to Texas, right? Like, and Florida. Isn't there
That's
a lot
exactly
of people,
right.
like,
There's a ton of people that have moved for supposedly. Yeah.
Rogan alone.
Well, Florida has absolutely been just intaking fucking crazies from all over. So, like, to some degree, like a red sponge is a good thing. Like red sponge states are great.
No, it's not. That's not a bad thing.
If they were already red and then there's a bunch of fucking lunatics that move there, it's like, great. Concentrate your idiocy into these fucking swamplands.
The next hurricane is just going to wash them all back to us.
Yeah, who cares?
Okay.
Live in the fucking diseased wang of America. Who gives a shit?
Rogan endorsed Trump fucking last night. Is that what happened?
Yeah, I saw
what
that.
a piece of shit.
Apparently, because Harris didn't come on. That's what he said.
Fucking believe but who wants to spend 19 hours on your fucking show sitting on your bullshit couch
wants
next
to hear
to your
about that
table?
sweet fucking move you pulled
off.
in jujitsu for 10 hours.
I
You
fucking
know?
hate that guy so much. Jesus Christ.
I hate that guy's the standard for our craft.
Yeah,
That makes me crazy that guy can pull in that many millions of people. And he's uninteresting. He asks the least critical questions, and he has the worst conversations, and he lets his guests walk all over.
And he's got no sense of his own of editorial control whatsoever. It's like, we should just do a 3.5-hour ramble fest with whatever dickhead decides to sit across from me at my desk.
Oh,
he's the fucking worst.
And he's a giant hypocrite. I've heard a bunch of his opinions. A bunch of them are actually more left than right, if anything. Of course, there's counterexamples. He sucks because of those. And he's a nut about vaccines. He's a conspiracy theorist. He's terrible, to be clear. But more of his opinions are left than right. And he endorsed Donald Trump.
He just likes that fucking machismo shit.
Yeah,
that's why.
He even had fucking Vance on his show and was like pressuring him about abortion. And you're like, dude, that clearly, he's saying those things because I think there's a part of him that cares about it.
And then he endorsed Donald Trump.
Yeah, but for the most part, he doesn't give a shit. Like, he's like, that's the tiniest piece of me.
Or, the other strategy, if he is the sycophantic bullshit artist that I think that he is if I was that guy, I would ask Vance about abortion too, because I would then ask him, allow him to give his bullshit prepared answer, and then not push him on it.
Yeah.
And that's it.
But I think
I would let Vance control the narrative on the topic.
But the way Joe encountered it, it seemed like he was on the side.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
I think he was pushing back against that.
Yeah.
Oh, was he really?
Yeah, no,
okay, that surprises me. I didn't hear it. So
he's just a hypocrite who landed on Trump anyway.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, he still lands on the guy who's going to take rights away from half the population.
Well, this is a guy who got famous by like encouraging people to eat scorpions and then like yelling about cage fighters. Like, this is not like one of America's great intellectuals.
Hey, News Radio was great.
News Radio was amazing. Thank you, Ian.
How much did Joe Rogan contribute to
He was there.
He was, So was Andy.
Was he like a writer or something?
No, he was one of the guys.
Yeah, he was one of the main cast.
He was funny.
He did what he was fucking told. As soon as he has control over anything, he ruins it.
Okay.
Man, News Radio was great. I miss News Radio.
Phil Hartman too. God damn.
Yeah.
News Radio was actually very good.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen an episode of it.
Phil Hartman is very funny.
Phil Hartman was funny.
Yeah. So with Rogan, he seems to be landing on he's like a single issue voter almost. So he's a big libertarian. That's his thing. But he's more of a liberal on a lot of things.
Oh, yeah.
And he's a libertarian. Yeah. And he let this one single issue, this wedge issue of like, I think freedom of speech is under attack by Democrats. it's just a nonsense talking point of the right. He doesn't have anything to worry about, but he let that one stupid thing jump ahead of his opinions about like economic justice, which is like the ultimate thing. That's the ultimate thing.
Yeah.
And social justice.
You're not wrong. And I think the other thing that poisoned him too is he's come out as pretty anti-trans in a lot of ways. And I think he tries to turn a lot of conversations into anti-trans conversations. And that's something that the Republicans feed right into. So it's a perfect marriage.
What's fucking insane to me is like, I would actually agree that freedom of speech is under attack. I think that is a true thing. I think it is absolutely under attack from the right.
Yeah, right.
I think that because they literally are labeling speech as enemies within, like people who are they're literally saying like, if they shoot the press to get to me, I'm okay with it. Freedom of speech is under attack. It 100% is, but not the way they're imagining it to be. What they want to do is formalize those attacks so they can direct them at the people that they don't want criticism from.
Sure.
That's the real freedom of speech. It's not just like, well, you know, if I say stupid shit, you call me on it. That's what they're talking about.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I don't like when you call me on my shit.
Joe Rogan's a comedian, so he's mad because he made some shitty jokes and people were like, that was a shitty joke. You got a consequence. Cancel culture is also freedom of speech. If you're truly a freedom of speech warrior, you believe in cancel culture just as much as you believe in, you know, your right to make shitty jokes.
Yeah, he's 100% one of those cancel culture warriors that just like, that's what he spends all his time talking about. You know, it's so funny because like one person in one small college across the country will do something and they immediately think it's indicative of an entire nation, where you're just like, come on, it's just like one like little incident happens and you think everybody's is this, it's this entire, now it's a movement.
I'm amazed too at how many people who truly have no connection with college at all. Meaning like never went to one.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Right?
You're not wrong.
Are suddenly so worried about what's happening on a campus.
Yeah, man, you're not wrong.
And you're just like, you fucking didn't even go. You didn't go to that school. You didn't go to any school. This isn't party. It's like when people get like all worked up about like, oh my God, you see what they're doing in the Ivy Leagues with admissions. Like, who cares? That's nobody. By the numbers, nobody goes to these schools.
You know what else?
All of a sudden you're a huge fan of women's collegiate swimming. Are you really? I don't think you are. Yeah.
One of the things I noticed too is that they've started to use affirmative action and DEI interchangeably.
Yes.
So they're starting to use even though those two terms aren't the same thing. They've started to use those two. In fact, that Dr. Phil came out during the Madison Square Garden rally and said something like, you know, this country wasn't built on DEI, it was built on, you know, hard work or whatever. And you're like, you're confusing the terms affirmative action and diversity, equity, and inclusion. Then they don't care. They've lumped it all into a bad column, and they're just like, it's bad. It doesn't matter.
But you want to be like, I recognize that this country was built on hard work, but like that work wasn't paid for.
Yeah.
You know, I would agree this country was built on hard work. I would say that like the laborers were not paid for those efforts. Though. Like that's a whole thing for like a lot of years, you know, and like, you know, multiple different ethnicities have had their time to be the unpaid indentured servant or other labor. But sure. I agree. It's hard work. It's hard work to put down a railroad. You didn't
build a White House. You didn't.
We paid him
Ohio's
in
red.
We paid him in company script. Yeah. But,
Ohio's red,
cool.
guys. Ohio jumped
neat.
in, so.
Let's see what is, let's see I just want to see the breakdown. It's not that close. Half the votes in. So
half
that's
the votes
the worst.
in.
Cool.
Yeah. Ohio's in.
That was never really, I'm comforting myself. It was not in play.
That's not a worry. That was
I mean, like a lot of these that are falling are not.
Yeah.
But again, you know, you're going to see probably like you said, Tom, tonight, you're going to see whether or not Georgia is one of these ones that, you know, can prevail because Georgia, these votes are coming in a lot faster than they were last time.
Yeah. Yeah. If Georgia and North Carolina pop, oh man,
it's done.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah. Gwinnett is a big county and there still is a lot of votes that they need to count there. And it's right next to Atlanta.
Hey,
so that's one that could change a lot of things.
I'm curious what's going on with you guys recently in terms of dealing with this election. So have you done any trying to talk to people? Have you done any like attempting to convince, calling your friends and starting a conversation of like, hey, you going to vote? Oh, like, let me give you some information or give you some help or did you try to do any like lobbying with people, or anything like that?
Most of the people I know are very politically engaged. So I don't have anybody I think that wasn't going to vote that I hang out with.
Well,
Tom, you?
Yeah, no, I'm super fortunate in that respect too. Well, I don't have a lot of friends. So like there's not a lot of people that want to spend time with me, Heath. That's when you're this unpleasant, like it's a narrow range, right? So no, and like there's nobody in my sphere that would not have had years of me, there's nobody in my sphere that would be red. There's no, or a non-voter. We're trying to convince Donovan Donovan went out. He's 18. He went out and he voted for the first time today. Nice. And then we asked him if his friends voted and he's like, no, they didn't register. And I'm like, they don't have to register. They can go right now. I'm like, get on the phone and call your friends and get them to go to the fucking poll. And he wouldn't do it. I was really
show up at their door.
Haley was like, your friends need to come to our house more. Like your friends need to come to the house more so we can, like, I was like, do they not have parents? I was like, I'll get in the car and pick them up and drive them. What are we doing? Like, what's happening right now? So now we're not subtle. We're not a subtle house.
I have a buddy who texted me tonight and he said that he was out canvassing today and they were talking back and forth, and to one of the organizers he was working with, he said, if this is the last election, I'll at least gave it my ball. Basically, I gave it my best. So I did my best on the last election. So he's out canvassing as of today. So what about you, Heath? You have people that you're trying to convince?
Okay. The reason I ask, what made me think of it is I have, some people, like I went to high school in a pretty Republican area, despite being right next to New York City. So like the moment you get outside of New York City, New York State becomes super red in the whole thing. The whole thing, all the population's in New York City, but the whole rest of it.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing in Illinois. It's basically anything outside of Chicago or like one or two small cities in the southern part. It's all blue or it's all red.
Yeah. And actually the district where I grew up, District 17 now in New York, is a pretty decently contested race. This guy, Mike Lawler, who fucking sucks, is the incumbent Republican, and he's running against Mondaire Jones, who actually had a New York State Congress seat and then lost it when they redistrict. And now he's running against him and he's got a shot, but I think it's like maybe 65-35 right now. But so this guy, Mike Lawler, he's fucking terrible. He went to high school where my mom taught, in the same district. He was born and grew up and went to school in the district where my mom was a teacher. And now he lives in the town where I went to high school and where I live. So like, I can't, I'm so excited if Mondaire Jones can pull it off, but it doesn't look great. But yeah, it's a pretty red place. It's a lot of like, cops, firefighters type people who like work in the city and they have kind of like old school conservative values. So I went to school with a lot of people like that. So I have some amount of interaction with people that I think maybe I can tell them something or, push them in a certain direction. And one of my closest friends, he's not that. He's been a pretty progressive liberal his whole life, but he got like conspiracy pilled.
Oh, no.
Recently. Yeah. He, especially COVID, he became an anti-vaxxer and just got into that whole sphere. And now he's been like a bit red pilled, not just like conspiracy pilled, but like red pilled, because that's how it fucking works. That's
right.
That's the path.
They're all the same thing, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
It's all the same Venn diagram. Like,
So I got on the phone with him last night and I was like, I'm going to try this one more fucking time.
Good for you.
I swear to fucking God. And because I talked to him in 2016 and I was like, all right, so you have to vote for Hillary Clinton. I know you're in New York and I know it's like locked in for her electorally, but just do it anyway because it's the right thing to do. And he's like, no, I'm going to vote third party. And then he was like, yeah, I voted third party. And I was like, okay, no, you didn't. I checked. I can check if you voted. You didn't vote. And he was like, I thought that, no, I'm pretty sure I voted. I was like, no, you didn't vote. You didn't vote
I had to try the concept of a vote.
Yeah. But so I got on the phone with him again and I was like, all right, I'm going to try this out. And by the end of the call, I don't know that I like definitely convinced him, but I got him for the first time ever in any of these conversations to be like, He had like a moment of pause after I said something, and he's like, all right, he said, I'm going to do my own research on that. And I was like,
what is it that do you remember what it is? Do you remember like,
no, I'll tell you
wedge?
the angle I took. And it just happened to work. I should have thought of this before. I tried to make all the different points about it. And I got the vibe that he was like, not going to vote for Kamala Harris, probably not for Trump either. That's the vibe I got. And I was like, no, like there's two people who might win. If you don't vote for the better one, that's bad, because you know how words work and concepts work. And so I was finally I got to what we were just talking about a second ago, which was single issue voters. He actually brought it up. He was like, yes, he wants more, being nice to people, even if you don't agree with them politically. And like in some grand sense, maybe that's good, but it's hard to do in a time like this because you're a terrible person if you're voting for Donald Trump. So like, I'm not being nice to you, but that's what he was kind of going for. And he was describing it as like, yeah, but there's people who have this like one thing that's important to them. And then you have the thing that's important to you. And you shouldn't insist that they have the same single big important issue. And I was like, yeah, okay. So you mean like single issue voters? And very clearly, as it applied to him, he meant freedom of speech. He's a freedom of speech. Yeah. Obviously, as part of the conspiracy theory pill, you end up talking about Brett Weinstein and Jordan Peterson bullshit like that, like injustice in academia for the people who aren't liberal or whatever. So he has that kind of thing in his head. I finally get him to be like, okay, so I think if you're going to be a one issue voter, if you're going to have a single issue, I think that's usually not a good idea. It seems like politics has many issues. Yeah, you should just like think about them all and like diversify. Weigh them. Yeah. There's a bunch intellectual of things going on, man.
Right? Like, yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So I said, there's a bunch of things going on, but if I am a single issue voter in any way, it's economic justice. Like that's the one. And what I really think is happening, and this is the part that worked, I was like, what's happening is a trick to get you to not look at economic justice, because for our entire lifetimes, the GOP is economic injustice. That's their thing. That's their like defining characteristic. And I was like, listen, they're doing wedge issues. Like, for example, under Reagan, that was like the beginning of the get the Christian right in. So make, pro-life a wedge issue and try to get a bunch of voters on board, even though a whole bunch of those people are in the, 90 something percent who need more economic justice, but Reagan's going to do the opposite and make it worse for you. So I point this out and I was like, listen, this is a trick. They're trying to trick you. And that thinking is very similar to conspiracy theory.
Oh, you got him a conspiracy about
if you get him to think about stuff like that, then he thinks, someone's trying to pull something over on me.
Exactly. That's the one simple trick that they don't want you to know about, is that they're tricking you away from the focus on a huge issue, which is economic justice. And he was like, I don't know. Is it clear? Like, I'm not sure that it's clear that the Republican Party is worse for that than the Democrats. And I was like, dude, yeah, go ahead and do your own research on that. Look up,
that'll be fine.
Look up supply side economics. Look up anything.
Yeah, you're not going to stumble across anything that's going to scare you away from that.
Yeah. And I actually got him to land on a place for the first time ever where he was like, I'm going to check that, and this might change my mind. Like, that was actually the vibes for the very first time.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. We got to take a pause real quick. Cecil, can you click on abortion rights measure fails in Florida, a political victory for DeSantis? You were right there. It's under no surprises in first states called. It's the first thing.
Fuck.
It's not good news. Abortion rights measure fails in Florida. I'll read this to you guys. Ballot measure that would have enshrined abortion rights in the Florida Constitution failed, according to the Associated Press, delivering a major defeat to proponents who had hoped to restore broad access to the procedure in the nation's third largest state. Amendment 4 fell short of the 60% required for passage. Now, that is one of the highest bars.
Wow, that's a big, that's a deep.
It would have allowed abortions before viability, usually around 24 weeks of pregnancy. Florida bans most abortions after 6 weeks.
Wow.
Before many women know they're pregnant. The defeat, while not unexpected, halted what had been an unbroken winning streak for abortion rights groups on ballot measures since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade in 2022.
And
I mean,
Florida
you
was
saw
like,
this
hold my
week-
beer.
You saw this week there was somebody who died in Texas.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like this is not going to be something that doesn't happen.
No.
If this becomes, if the Republicans win, do not expect that it will be. I mean, it's gonna be more deaths over the next 4 years.
100%.
A lot more deaths. Expect it to happen.
We
And then-
know that. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we also go, Cecil, real to one more thing? I just want to, we were talking about freedom of speech being under attack. Can we click on the second item under
This one?
no surprises? Yeah, please. Thank you. Trump team revokes election party access for some journalists.
Nice.
Again, former President Donald J. Trump's campaign has blocked multiple reporters from its election event on Tuesday night at his Mar-a-Lago club in Florida. But yeah, freedom of
expect
speech.
more of that too, right?
Yeah, freedom
expect
of-
expect a lot more of that if Donald Trump gets elected. Expect,
Yeah, it'll be a total erosion of the fourth estate.
100%. Yeah, you're not gonna. The fourth estate might not even survive. Who
Yeah,
knows?
I mean, it's only the very first amendment.
Yeah.
The most important amendment is obviously the second one. That's why they put it after the first one. That's how you know if something's really important, it's the second
you want to
one.
do the second one. You want to get into number 2. Let's see how we looking in this.
How are we looking, Cecil? Gwinnett County, 18% of votes. There's no votes in.
The rest
DeKalb
of these,
County,
DeKalb County is a
73% in.
73% in.
Overwhelmingly Harris.
Yeah.
I mean, overwhelmingly Harris and Cobb County.
I'm gonna look at some of these. These are tiny little counties. Have like
There's like fucking no people.
there's nobody in those. So they're still rolling in Georgia. We'll see what happens.
How's North Carolina looking? 51% reporting in North Carolina.
And it's a tight race.
It's a tight race. I mean, that's within no people.
51% votes in, and Trump is up 51-48. Is that what that's?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that number in whole value numbers is like nothing. So in in
one
real
of the
numbers,
things I try to do is I try to figure out like some of these counties where they're like, this one has 10% in. It's clearly going for Kamala Harris, and it's a big city.
right.
And I'm like, okay, well, if that's only 10% in, expect another couple 100,000 votes possibly for Harris.
Right,
there. So that could
right.
be big. So it just depends on what some of these counties, and this one here, it's close to the city. It might be that,
Johnston County, 65% Trump.
yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway, so we'll see as they roll in, in. It's hard to, I got to remember to close that thing. I forget.
No, it's-
Gotta
Do you
close it.
think it's going to get called before dawn?
The whole race?
The whole
Yeah.
race?
Not unless North Carolina and Georgia. If North Carolina and Georgia go blue, yes, I think we'll have an answer tonight.
Okay, yeah. If there's enough of a decisive victory in those,
Yeah, because go to 270 to win for me, Cecil, real fast, if you don't mind, please. If you were to flip North Carolina and Georgia,
then Trump has to sweep the Rust Belt.
that's right.
Swing
And I
state.
just don't see that happening.
Yeah.
Because that puts us at 258. You get Michigan, you get Pennsylvania. I mean, that's a real hard win at that point.
Mm-hmm.
That's a real hard win. And I think what that would mean for those Rust Belt states, because those are hard wins. I think North Carolina and Georgia are hard wins. I think if he gets a hard win, he'll get easier wins. And I think the Rust Belt states are easier wins for Harris.
Yeah, I'd agree, except for Pennsylvania. I remain skeptical. Okay, even more broadly, are we doing this? Who do you think is going to win right now?
I mean, right now it's leaning towards Trump. I mean, but it's hard to tell because last time we had the red mirage with the people who were voting early, right? The people who were voting early weren't counted. So what happened is all the votes from the day were counted and we saw that red mirage.
Yeah.
This time, Trump has motivated his base to get out early.
Yeah, he
So-
decided mail counts now
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
so-
that's because they've changed nothing. So
Right.
So what you're getting is you're getting a group of people who are voting early and voting by mail that are also red. So again, you're seeing more red early. Does that translate to more red voting, or did they just move up when the red people voted? You don't know, right? My thought was I think it's harder to motivate a base of people. I thought his entire campaign felt demotivational, especially at the end, where, you're not seeing a lot of people as crazy as they were for him. It felt to me like it was a demotivational. It felt like, but I'm also in a bubble and I'm also really fucking biased. So for me, when I look at it, I'm like, it looks like he's kind of slumping. It looks like he's not really doing very well. It looks like, and I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, I really hope that this does mean good things for Harris. Again, I also saw today that the turnouts were huge. Again, that normally favors the Democrats. Turnouts normally favor Democrats. And we'll see if that turns into anything later on in the evening. But as it stands right now, it doesn't look great.
Here's where I'm at with it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to believe what I want. I'm done. I've just decided, like, I need to be done thinking one thing and hoping for another. Yeah. Like, it's not helping me, right? So, like, Harris, here's what I think is going to happen. I want to believe in the power of women and young people to do the right thing. And I have a few more hours to believe that is possible. Sure. And I'm going to believe that that's possible.
I trust women to do the right thing. I do not trust young people to do the right thing. There's
51% of this country is women. Most people are women. All the political power. What makes me crazy is the numbers are in the favor of women. The numbers are in the favor of young people. The numbers are not in the favor if they just seize control of the power they actually have. It's over and done with forever. Republicans can never win again. Like millennials, Gen Z, these are the biggest cohorts of voters in America.
Right. But what if they're in a snit about something?
Yeah. But they got to do it. Right? They've got to actually do it. But by the numbers, they're more powerful than everybody else.
I will say
I'm going to decide Harris wins this. I need it to be true.
You're calling Harris. All right.
All those people that are in a snit that decided to protest vote or not vote, if Trump wins and he selects 2 fucking teenagers for the fucking Supreme Court in replacing 2 70-year-olds, he has created a system that will be that's not just generational, it's multi-generational at that point.
Oh yeah.
And so you're in this country will be in a bad way judicially for
my life,
for not just decades to come, for several decades, and may never recover.
Like, seriously, I'm a 46-year-old man.
That's already happened
for my life.
And it's going to happen more.
It's going to happen even worse if that's the case. What about you, Heath? What are you calling?
I hate to fuck with our vibes, but I'm calling Trump. Like, I have no faith in humanity based on
faith in the system that people are gonna. It sucks that would be the case, but I don't disagree. I think it could lean that way. But I'm with Tom. Let's just dream big for a couple
I'd
hours.
love to, but I can't. I guess I'm still stuck on 2016 to some extent.
Yeah, still got it.
I still have.
I feel that PTSD too, but
touch the fucking stove.
Yeah, but like, here's the thing: is that it doesn't protect me in any way emotionally, I don't think, or psychologically.
I am protected, Tom.
I don't feel protected by doing that. Like, I feel like I've given into the worst nature of myself, and I won't allow it anymore.
Oh,
like,
I'm going
Harris
into the worst nature of myself because everybody else is. I don't care. Like, it's 2016, and it's honestly, it's my dad who was alive back in 2016, and he was the only person I knew who was like, yeah, Hillary's not going to win. That's not happening. Like, I would love to, that's who I'm voting for, but it's not happening. And it was like, 3-1 odds in favor of Hillary going into election day. And he was like, no, we're shitty. We're just terrible people overall. It's going to be Trump. And I was like, what are you talking about? That's not, look at all the stats. And he was like, yeah, I don't care. It's this, we're terrible. And I can't get it out of my head. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
it's not like we're not terrible.
Look, I've just realized that, like, being right about something bad happening doesn't make me feel better.
It makes me feel so much better. Are you serious?
It doesn't do anything for me. So, like, no, I'm done with, like, look, I still, we have a long night. We maybe have a long several days, which means that there's plenty of stuff still to decide. There's a huge number of ballots that will not be counted today. They won't be counted tomorrow. Those ballots matter. In 2020, many of these swing states are within 1 point
they
or
were
less
tiny,
of margin.
Tiny margins.
Harris absolutely can win this. Like, I think getting like down
I agree with that.
doesn't help. Harris can win it. She can win it. Statistically, she can win it.
Let's put it on the vision board. It's on the vision board.
Look, let's talk. Fuck it. I'm putting it into the goddamn universe. I need something to go, well, it's been a rough few
I've been doing
away
the opposite. I've got a sadness board and I like it.
Let's get away from this for a few minutes and let's do the quiz. We'll just
I was going to ask what.
Let's just hang out.
Okay.
Let's just hang out for a few minutes.
Okay.
There's nothing happening.
No, I was going to ask what
I want to talk about why I hate society more. I have thoughts.
I want to do the quiz. I was just curious what chat says.
Okay, we'll put chat up. I'm agreeing with Tom on something.
Yes, April. We never agree.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
How is this close? Well, it's close because we live in a country with a ton of low information voters.
Yep.
That's why it's close.
It's true.
I mean, if you sat down and you watched and listened to the people, that's the other thing that I saw too constantly is I kept on seeing people saying the same thing. They're like, I don't know what her policies are. And I'm like, dude, you haven't listened to their policies.
I know.
Because she has constantly been talking about her policies. They're like, I really don't know her. I just don't know her. And you're like, you're just giving yourself an excuse not to vote for a woman.
Yep.
That's all it is.
Yep.
You know what I was doing recently? I found this website. It's called google.com. And what I do is I'll put stuff in and you can find the
Mark
answers
Robinson
a
was
lot.
defeated in North Carolina. That
shit.
is worth looking at. We got to look at North Carolina's governor. Let me call it up. Go ahead. Go ahead.
This is Black Nazi born guy.
Black Nazi. Yes.
That's good news.
That's good news.
Mm-hmm.
That's good news.
Hold on,
Fucking A. Hell yeah. Get some people out there to fucking turn that shit over. Fuck you piece of shit.
I'm gonna throw a poll upon. I'm gonna throw a poll on this. I feel like North Carolina heard Black Nazi and they were like, I don't like the first word. And
man.
Shit, man.
Yeah. So there you go. So
yes,
hey,
you piece of shit.
Here's the thing, man. You got to take your victories where you can.
Yeah, man.
And this is one of those ones where you're like, I'll take it. I'll fucking take it.
You know,
fuck this guy forever.
All it takes to disqualify somebody is to be a black Nazi. The white Nazis, definitely not disqualified. The black ones, though.
They're like, go ahead and put your hood back on. We don't want to know who you are.
Oh, God.
Okay.
And I proudly stand.
All right, guys. All right, we're going to do another quiz.
All right, let's do another quiz.
Question. Here we go. New quiz question.
Toby Keith died. I just want to throw out some good news, too.
Oh, Toby Keith, the bad country singer?
Yeah, he's dead.
Oh. Well, good. There won't be any more of his albums.
He won't proudly stand.
I bet his family's really sad.
All right, here we go. Quiz question. Here we go.
Don't be related to him.
Here we go. Heath, are you ready?
Ready.
Which came first?
Egg.
Donald Trump misleadingly stated there is no reason for these massive, deadly, and costly forest fires in California except the management is poor. And then Trump elaborated on his claim saying, you got to take care of the floors. You got to
get out there with a dustpan.
It's very important. Yeah. Finland spent a lot of time raking and cleaning and doing things, and they don't have a problem. And then Finland basically went out to the forest with their dustbusters and took selfies.
Oh, God. Okay.
Or you got to get a Swiffer going. It's sticky.
Trump taking the National Weather Service's map and drawing another circle encompassing Alabama during Hurricane Dorian. Which came first? Raking forests.
The forest fire thing first.
Or drawing
on... It's the hurricane. I'm going to be wrong.
The hurricane came after. The forest was in November of 2018.
It's not good for me tonight.
The Dorian was September 1st of 2019.
See, so why did any of this happen?
He drew on a map. He was so fragile. Do you remember how fragile he was?
Yes.
He got told, no, it's not going there. It's like literally not going in. He's like, no, I want you to go ahead and draw on the map. Then he made them write out a statement, Tom. He made the National Weather Association write out a statement, and they wrote out a statement that was unsigned that said, they were like, he was actually right, but no one signed it.
Nobody
no one
tells
signed
me
it.
which direction science is going. You don't talk to me like that. I drive a Dodge Stratus. He's such a fucking piece.
I drive a Dodge Stratus.
God damn it.
And the raking of the forest thing was amazing.
Oh my God.
It was so. I mean, it's so. Whenever he tried to talk about anything technical,
I know, man. Do you remember when he was going to buy Greenland and Greenland was like, "We're not for sale."
That's part of the quiz.
You know
Well,
how
I don't
you
want
go.
to say when it happened because I don't know when it happened, but like, we just all should remember that, like, at some point he thought he could like swipe America's credit card and buy Greenland.
This is a harder one.
Denmark had to call him and be like, "No, man,
no, we're good. We're okay."
No.
Yeah, we're not.
And so, sorry, you're already lost. We're a country in Europe that has Greenland.
I'm sorry, there's not an everyday low prices sign.
He's
going to
grab somebody's shoulder and drag him back like that one guy from like Montenegro. Do you remember when he grabbed that guy and he pulled him back? All right, this one's way harder. This one's actually way harder. Which happened first? Rudy Giuliani gives a press conference at Four Seasons Total Landscape, or the call to Georgia
Same day.
for 11,780 votes.
Same day.
It wasn't the same day.
Oh, okay.
Jesus. The call to Georgia or Four Seasons Total Landscaping, which happened first?
Four Seasons Total Landscaping.
Oh, yeah, it was Four Seasons. The Raffensperger call where he tried to get votes was later. That was in.
Yeah, so you guys are both right.
Yes!
It was in November when he did. It was seriously, it was, okay.
That's my North Carolina.
4 days after the election, Rudy Giuliani gave press conference at Four Seasons Total Landscaping. And then 4 days before January 6th is when he called.
Okay, so I thought the reason I jumped in early is because I was sure you were going to say the election got called, because we got to watch Rudy Giuliani during the speech.
Yes,
he is standing next to a pornographic bookstore and a crematorium, and he's given a fucking pontification speech, and somebody's like, "Hey, they fucking called it," and he's like, "They called it the what? The election?" And we watch him melt down more than his face was already physically melting down. It was, I think that's the best day of my life.
Here's what needs to be true. This shit is really funny.
When Ann said yes, that was pretty fucking great. But like, I think Ann would agree that
future wedding, maybe not even as good. Yeah.
This stuff is all really funny as long as it stays in the past. You know, like these questions they're gonna hit me a little different if I'm like, so we're doing that again, huh?
Yeah,
we're doing that. What's
so crazy is like
we said yes to that dress.
There was a full month where they did their best to steal the election, and we're like, yeah, no, you can do it again. How do we do that? How does that even work? And we had 4 years to say, no, we're not going to let that happen.
I know I told you this story, but like.
How did we let it happen?
I don't know. I know I told you the story, but I'll tell the chat like Heath. I was riding my bike, and I came along another group of cyclists, and I've never done this before, but like they pulled up by me, and then we started chatting while we were riding. And literally the one guy just decided he was going to talk about politics with me, but the way he talked about politics was just to say out loud in some rehearsed order the buzzwords. So he was just like, tariffs, DEI. It just kept saying, like, out of nowhere. It was the most insane. We're riding bikes together. You know what I mean? Like, this is like a fun thing people do. And he was just like, tariffs, DEI, just whatever the other talking points were. I don't even remember.
Funds rate, dude. What? You're just saying
fucking that's nuts, man. It was. I was like, I was looking around like somebody should hit this man with a car. Somebody should just hit him with a car.
You should have nudged him off the bike path, and he just.
I should have, because he had a nicer bike too. God. I could have taken his
bike.
He had a Cervelo. Nice. That's a sweet bike.
Yeah. I was genuinely hoping the story was going to end with this guy being like, like mangling himself into something.
Heath, there were like 4 guys. This guy's fucking just saying talking points out loud in the air in front of his bicycle while I'm next to him. I just met him 40 seconds ago. 40 seconds. I just like pedaled faster and rode next to one of his other compatriots. And that guy was just like, so you want to talk about riding bikes? And I'm like, that's what I'm here for. Not just saying talking points in the air around me now. It was fucking insane.
Can you talk while you're riding a bike? Like if you're close enough to somebody. In my head, it's like you're in two airplanes. I guess that's not true, but like it seems impossible.
Yeah, no, I didn't know this either. I've never ridden with anybody before. It was the only time I've done, but yeah, it turns out it's very easy to hear somebody. So
Okay.
yeah. If you're just pacing each other, it's perfectly fine. Yeah. So it was just fucking totally insane. Like, this is a man I just met. DEI. Like, what do you want me to say to that? Define it for you? Like, what is this?
Well, Trump couldn't. They had
I know.
when he was on the stage that happened. Like, he's on the stage with a black journalist and he's like, I don't know, Kamala's not black. I have no idea.
Jesus fucking.
And you're just like, and that just happened.
That's
like,
the
that
thing that
just
happened. Yeah. Fucking the world is insane. The world's insane.
Insanity, bro.
And we're about to be like, yeah, sounds good.
You know what I want? Here's what I want. I want to fucking stop talking about him.
Man,
that's all I want. I want to come into the show and have Tom and I call up and be like, oh, this crazy hate pastor in some fucking random place across is doing some crazy shit. I'll be like, man, I want to talk about that guy.
The good old days.
When it was a small group of people.
You remember when Obama was president? Do you remember how it was just like, oh, it's like the really fucking smart guy just running the show.
Yeah, man.
Hey, man.
Fucking great.
The thing is, like, I actually really liked Biden. I think Biden.
I like Biden too. Yeah.
4 years. He had a great presidency. The problem is his presidency was completely overshadowed by Trump.
Yeah. We've been talking about Trump the whole time.
Yeah. So even though like there was actually an enormous amount of really powerful things that were accomplished in that 4 years, like just the economic progress in that 4 years, the outpacing of beating inflation compared to every other G7 nation. And it's not even close. It's not even close how much better we did in outpacing the inflation problem for every other G7 nation. And we're just like, it just gets nobody even knows it.
Well, it's because he just screams inflation all the time and people leave him.
And it's like, yeah, but fucking inflation's down.
A ton of people are voting for Trump because they think the economy is a problem.
The economy is so
Despite
good.
The data, the very clear, important data you just mentioned.
Yeah. Like the economy, like the fucking unemployment rate is at 4.2%. That's a historically great rate. That is an outstanding unemployment rate.
You know,
wage growth is outpacing inflation again.
Yes.
So that all the signs, everything you would use to measure an economy.
But that's happens.
All those things
that
are
happens
good.
every time. They get to ride the bike down the hill and crash, and then the Democrats get to pick the bike up and try to fix it, and then they crash the bike again. That happens in cycles all the time.
It's just like people don't know anything.
I never thought of this before. I never, put it into words in my head. I don't think the average American is very good at economics. I think they might be bad at it.
I think we discovered something here tonight.
What?
Wow. I think we've touched on something.
Should they be allowed to vote?
Americans should not be allowed to vote.
Thank you, Ian. Report.
Can we just?
I like that you jumped in just for that. You were like, "Yes, let's have tests before you can vote."
Bring back the king. Bring him. We have a monarchy. Can we rejoin?
I don't like this feels like bullshit. No swing state has been called, but Trump won Florida by a significantly larger margin than 2020, an early show of strength. I do think that's misleading. I think that is laundering. I think that's misleading. Because like we were talking about, the massive migration of right-wing nut jobs into Florida, like that's just to be expected.
Yeah. With DeSantis taking over, like it's now like a bastion of stupid fucking politics. It's like their mecca.
Well, we're not going to know shit tonight either.
Probably not.
We're probably not going to know anything tonight. I just want to see one of these swing states on the Eastern coast.
I would love to see Georgia go.
I'm pretty sure we're not getting any of the Rust Belt states until post midnight at the very earliest for like
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
But probably days. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's if I had to guess again, it's going to be the key thing. So Pennsylvania, it's going to be Pennsylvania. That seems to be the crossing the finish line path for both candidates is through Pennsylvania. Wisconsin,
which they knew it. They fucking campaigned like crazy there. So yeah. I mean, like Harris could not very well easily, but like she could win. If she gets your state, She gets Pennsylvania. She gets Wisconsin. That's it. That's a sewn up.
that's
That's
a
I think
That's
she will
lot.
get Pennsylvania. I think she will get Wisconsin and Michigan. I am remaining skeptical on Pennsylvania, and it's because I hate society. Can I make an official announcement to the people listening? So a day ago, we released a Skeptocrat, and it was our show about politics that happened to be releasing the day before election day. So for one big chunk of that show, I made I would say an impassioned plea to disaffected progressive voters. And I very intentionally, I made some jokes, but I was like, no, I'm going to come to this issue from a place of empathy. And I think your philosophy, if you're a progressive person, is you care about other people. And I think you're going to do the right thing in the end, which is vote for somebody who will minimize the harm to vulnerable populations. That's, a core of the progressive philosophy. And so I made this plea. I'd like to take that all back. I was lying. I hate all of you. If you were even for a tiny moment considering not voting for Kamala Harris in this general election, you're just a terrible person. If you were really thinking about that, you're not a good person. I was lying. I was just hoping to hack it so that a few of you on the margins would maybe think about it for one goddamn second.
I was trying to trick you.
Yeah. I really hate. I hate you as a person. You're a bad person.
Okay, but apparently the green vote is not enough to push her over the edge anyway, apparently. So it's not really.
Okay, the Jill Stein vote literally changed. Just take away Jill Stein's votes in 2016, move them to Hillary Clinton. Hillary wins.
I'm saying for this. I know. Jill Stein sucks. I agree.
Yeah,
but the people who vote suck more.
What's funny is you see all those pictures with her and like sitting with Putin and all that stuff, and you're like, of course.
Like the other big demotivational issue for people who would typically be more reliably blue is Gaza. And that's something I can't wrap my head around, being like, we'll let the guy who's worse on the issue win in order to punish the person who's not as good on the issue. Like, that doesn't accomplish anything. It does. What it does is it makes things worse for Gazans.
Yeah.
Like, it will make things worse. There's no possible world where Trump wins and things get better for Gazans.
Yep.
So if that's like your issue, I get it. And if that makes you mad at the Biden administration, I get that too.
Sure.
But if you're motivated and impassioned by that, you can't be like, I'll let the worst guy ever on the issue win. Literally the worst person ever on the issue of the Middle East win. Yeah.
You're going to victimize somebody. You're going to victimize people in Palestine who you claim to care about because you're in a snit.
Yes.
That's what you're doing. You're also victimizing, and I didn't invent this argument. You're victimizing trans kids in Indiana, for example. And this AOC made this argument in a recent interview, and we talked about it on the show yesterday. That's why she's like, hey, no, you have to do the right thing anyway, because picking what you see as the lesser of two evils, that I reject that premise. But okay, let's allow that premise. You do have to pick the lesser of two evils because it's less evil because of what words mean. Again.
Yeah, it's not complicated. Actually.
It's really not.
It's
really
super
easy.
simple.
Yeah. It's really easy.
Yeah, the ethical math here is real fucking elementary. It's the easiest trolley problem ever.
And there's a lot more bodies stacked on Trump's side. And their bodies are your friends and family and women in Texas and trans people in Indiana and all Ukraine. And I mean, it's just there's
anybody who uses EBT and WIC, just economic justice too.
You're absolutely right.
It's crazy.
You're absolutely right.
It's absolutely crazy. You're either a liar, stupid, or you're a liar and stupid. So
to play devil's advocate,
you could be a liar or stupid or a stupid liar. I mean, I would allow it.
Truly like bad at morality, and so you're a terrible person, stupid, or a liar, or some combination.
Come on. To play devil's advocate, you don't think it's on Kamala's? She should.
Can you say her name right?
That. Whatever. I don't give a fuck. Mamala, don't you think it's on her to really convince people though, more than it's on?
No. No, it's your
No.
job to get the very simple thing I was just talking about.
I just don't think that's true. I don't think if your family was being genocided, you wouldn't give a fuck about women's rights. Like, no offense, like it's just not equivalent. Like it's. I don't think that's going to motivate.
What are
You
you
should
going to
vote. You should vote for Harris because of both of those.
Yes, but
issues.
we're high propensity voters. We're of course going to pick the lesser of two evils. We
But
got to
there
get
are
the low
people who-
propensity motherfuckers off the couch.
But we're not
to
talking about
do
low
it.
propensity people. We're talking about people who, in Michigan in particular, who've been polled as saying that they are not voting, even though they've been reliably blue voters their whole lives. These are people who are high propensity voters sitting out this election to teach Biden and Harris a lesson. That doesn't teach them a lesson. It's not like they say, okay, we'll do a better job next time. They don't get it next time.
That's not even how it works. And AOC in that same interview made this point. She was like, hey, when there's a very close general election or a loss for Democrats in a general election, the party moves to the right. We know that. That's how it works. So withholding your vote as a progressive does the opposite of what you think it's doing.
That's a
And
great point.
right.
Actually. That's a great
Factually
point.
true.
Actually.
Right,
Yeah.
but then whose fault is that? It's the party's fault.
Yours for voting
moving.
wrong.
No, it's the party's
Yes.
fault for moving right and trying to outflank the right wing when they cannot do that. I'm not saying that they're going to learn a lesson from this, obviously.
No, they
Then
won't.
what? Then what is sitting out accomplish except for to make things worse?
Because people who are have family members or look like a certain complexion or like have a certain faith are being genocided. They don't want to vote for the genocide to continue.
But
like-
they are voting. You're missing
I
something.
get what you're saying. But if we're going to be lesser of two evils, one of the lesser evils cannot also be doing a genocide. Like I'm not saying that I vote.
Wait,
I
no.
obviously voted for
What
Harris.
if there's
Like-
what if there's a genocide of like 1 million people, and then the other option is a genocide of 10 million people?
Not
You don't
if
think
there's
you
a
have to pick the
threshold
one?
of genocide, though. Like genocide plus 1 versus genocide plus 0 is not much difference of genocide.
Well,
Yeah, it's a difference of 1.
Yeah, but that is not enough to sway people. You have to separate yourself from Biden. As if Harris was going to do something, this doesn't fucking matter right now. Anyway, 'cause it's over.
But
It's
you're
like we're
passionate
already
about
cooked.
this. Like you're
I am
speaking
passionate
up.
about it
Yeah.
because I think she should have separated herself from Biden earlier and more intensely. And I know people say that like she did say the words, but everything was centered around Israel has a right to defend itself and not the genocide happening to Gazans. And I'm saying that the people who look like Gazans, all they hear is you're going to continue doing a war overseas and killing people that look like their cousins. Like, I'm not saying that you're not right, obviously, with the lesser of two evils. Obviously you are, but like the Democratic Party shifting to the right and not at least courting or saying, even lying, I don't give a fuck, to the progressives about this issue is they shot themselves in the foot.
I think if you think
know.
about it, though, there is someone who can change their mind. And I think clearly you're admitting that the Democrats can change their mind on this. So installing someone who is immovable on this is worse for you.
I agree, except that the time is now to get them to change because they won't change once they're in office. They change based on the pressure of whether or not they could get in office. That's at least how I feel. That they should have been stronger.
But
anyway,
I think
if the Democrats don't do the best strategy,
I agree. I understand that.
That's worse. And just to be clear, a bunch of people in the chat are fucking stupid. I want to be super clear about that too. They seem to not understand this very simple concept. You're dumb too. Those people.
Jesus. And that's the end of our show. We're canceled.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to like derail it.
No, but this feels like the difference between what is a deeply held personal and ethical truth versus what is a practical reality. And I think that like politics is not about, it cannot be about anything other than the practical on the ground effects.
And I think that's how you always think of it.
Yeah.
And I think like that's a valid way to think of it. But I think that there is something to be said about always looking to the ideal. Some people are like that. They just think differently than you.
Sure.
And so they're thinking about it in a different way. I don't think that the effects they are going to affect are going to be helpful to them in any way. but they are approaching that problem in a different way.
Yeah, no, I
they
get
are
that.
approaching that problem in an idealistic way versus a sort of,
Pragmatic
utilitarian
way.
Consequentialist way that matters in
I'm not saying,
ways.
look, I'm not trying to argue it. I'm just saying there are people who look at this problem in a different way. And so they might never get to that point that you guys are at that are saying, no, logically it makes sense. And I'm with you. Logically it makes sense. But I am also someone who straddles that line and says, I would love to vote my ideals every single time I vote.
I'd love to also.
That.
If you say, though, logically X makes sense, we're done talking. X is the move. That's just how things work.
Yeah, I understand people being upset. I very much do. I understand not just taking what they're giving. I understand that too. But I don't think that that you win anything for anyone by protest voting it.
Correct.
Yeah, or sitting out.
Voting.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Like I think you lose for everybody.
Yeah, and that's the only thing.
But I understand. I understand it.
All
But
four of
I
us
think
are agreed on that for sure.
Yeah, sometimes you got to hold your nose.
True.
Like, and I think I think the problem with politics is sometimes we have to do things that really shock our own conscience.
Yeah.
And
but
I understand
people who really give a fuck about it. We obviously really give a fuck about it, so we're gonna vote like that. But we got to get the people who don't quite give a fuck about things. Like, you got to give them something to vote for.
Yeah, and if people are single issue voters, you've got to reach out to single issue voters where you can. I do think, and I do agree with Ian that she should have separated herself a little bit. I do think she should have. I think she should have had a different stance and said different things. She had an unenviable task of being part of an administration and trying to run. This was a unique situation. She wasn't chosen in the traditional sense that normally someone would be. And so she was in a weird spot, and she had a very short time frame to put a campaign together. A lot of things working against her. So I think that, in the time that she had, she did the best she could. I think she could have done more, but there's a lot of priorities you got to make. You got to choose a lot of different things.
I agree with that. And I think it's an impossible line for her to have straddled, being literally part of the administration in the moment.
Yeah.
And separating herself from the administration she's in the moment. It's not like there's no separation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And okay, if you care about what the US does, you want people like AOC and Bernie Sanders to have more power instead of less power, right? And both of them have expressed very sincere and what I agree with 100%, huge disagreements with the Biden-Harris administration's allyship with Israel of Benjamin Netanyahu. That's a bad thing. We should not. It's a terrible thing. We should not do that. If you want those people to have power in U.S. politics, you should vote for Kamala Harris today. You should have already. It's very clear. And Bernie Sanders and AOC are both saying the same thing because they get how this works. They understand better than whoever the fuck you are how to get progressive change to happen in this country. They're the biggest experts on that concept alive right now in terms of like getting progressive change in American politics, especially on this issue.
Sure.
So case closed.
Yeah. Heath has figured it out. All right. We're going to do a couple more questions.
All right.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. Who came first? Scaramucci or Spicer?
Spicer.
Yeah, Spicer with the gum.
With the big red.
Spicer came first. Scaramucci replaced him. How long was Scaramucci in?
Oh,
dab it up.
Oh, yeah. Boom. Boom. It's okay. So the Scaramucci is a unit of time.
Unit?
I do know that. It's equal to 11 days.
10 days.
So close.
I just got a text that said the first trans woman, Sarah McBride, was elected.
What? Where is she?
I gotta look it up. I gotta look it up.
That too. What did I say? Sarah McBride.
I'm working with a bag of Baby Bells today as my
nice
area. So normally I'll get like a couple because I'm like, yeah, I'll want like a Baby Bell or two over the next day. And I got a bag of a dozen Baby Bells and having one now. Pretty excited.
It looks like it was in Delaware, an at-large district. So here it is. Delaware, an at-large district. with that many votes in, they've called it for Sarah.
Nice.
Congrats. That's really great. That is good. That's good shit. All right, another question.
All right.
Which came first? NFL kneeling protests where people were kneeling during the NFL, and Trump stated he would love to see the NFLers say, "Get that son of a bitch off the field right now. He's fired. He's fired." Or the creation of the 1776 Commission, which was directly created because there's a radicalized view of American history, and it was in response to work like the groups that created the 1619 Project.
Oh, I think Kaepernick's thing came first.
I think the other way.
Kaepernick came first. September of 2017
Fire
was kneeling, and the creation of the 1776 Commission was in 2020, September of 2020. He really had a lot to do during that pandemic year, didn't he?
My God.
Hey, you know what? You know what we should do after the George Floyd protest?
For
we
real.
should make
Worry
the
about this shit?
76 because American history is racist to white people. Yikes.
You know, like I just want to like fully admit, like my brain, the timeline of my brain is absolutely ruined, devastatedly ruined.
But
I don't know when anything.
It's 100%. Okay, this one is going to be a crowd favorite.
I'm doing so bad.
Here's a crowd favorite.
Heath's
Which came first? The Bowling Green Massacre, a fictitious event of Islamic terrorism mentioned by Kellyanne Conway on Cosmopolitan, TMZ, and MSNBC, or 6 minutes after midnight, Trump tweeted, "Despite the constant negative press, Kavefefe." So
Kavefefe was a fun moment. I'm trying to like
Kavefefe or Bowling Green Massacre, which came first?
I feel like
I think it's Kavefefe.
I gotta go bowling. I gotta disagree with Heath because I have to disagree with Heath.
The Bowling Green Massacre happened 9 days after Trump was inaugurated.
Oh. All right, Tom, you got me on that one.
Nothing's anything.
9 days after.
9 days.
9 days after. And Kavefefe happened 5 months after.
That spring, yeah.
Yeah, it happened in May. So despite the constant negative press, Kavefefe. And my favorite part of that is he deleted the tweet, but then when it was it was implied by Sean Spicer that the wording was intentional. Quote, "I think the president and a small group of people know exactly what he meant."
I love their refusal to acknowledge when they fuck up anything.
It's so crazy,
it's like,
dude.
Yeah, there's a hurricane going here. No, there's not. Bloop, now there is. I fat fingered a tweet. No, I didn't.
No, I didn't. I never make mistakes.
It's a secret message. I tweeted it in my own urine. If you look at it under a black light, you can read it. The fuck?
Oh, we never got Kavefefe shirts. We
never got those.
Despite the constant negative press.
Kavefefe.
Don't worry, we'll have new ones to put up.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, Chad, to bring everybody there.
We all get to fight Ian. That's what I decided.
Wait, what?
We all get to fight.
Is that what the Electoral College is? I didn't agree to that.
All right, which came first? Ben Carson buys a dinette set for the Housing and Urban Development for $31,561, or Scott Pruitt buys a sound booth for the EPA for $43,000.
Oh, isn't he a DJ? He's a pretty sweet DJ.
Yeah, they hired Skrillex for the EPA.
Cool.
That's what they did. Yeah, he's dropping the beat like
I think it was
up in there.
I think it was Ben Carson first, though.
Yeah, I'm gonna go the opposite way so I can be wrong.
No, Scott Pruitt was in 2017 September, and Ben Carson was February 27th, 2018. So after he expensed a $43,000 fucking sound booth, and Congress put him in a leash and made him dog walk all back and forth, Ben Carson was like, "Yeah, put it on the charge card. I need a new dinette set." dinette set for the housing and urban development. What the
You
fuck
put it
do
in
you
your
need?
house. That's how
What?
you develop your house, Cecil. It's in the name. Fucking pay
What do you
attention.
need a dinette
Why are we
set?
doing a fucking showcase showdown right now? I don't understand.
We're never going to be on HGTV's fucking Headhunters or whatever.
Yeah, and you always pass on the first one because you might get a sweet DJ set from Scott Pruitt as the second one. Everybody knows
Let's see
that.
how we're doing over here. Is in 87. Still small amounts in Gwinnett.
See, so let's switch over, see what's going on with chat. Anything going on with our friends? Which I feel like it's been a
Oh,
minute.
I'm sure it's
since
gonna
we've
be good.
alienated them.
Yeah, it's better.
Gonna yell at us?
Better to look there.
Don't be mad, chat. We love you.
Did anybody make a really great point about the greater of two evils being? That would be a tricky one.
That's what you get at. That's what you get at Olive Garden. It's just got that. It's got that
Yeah,
crank.
the greater of two
of two evils. Just
Yeah.
the crank.
More.
I would like more evil
More,
on my
please. More,
pasta
please.
please.
Have you seen the
Let's
the
accelerate
videos
that evil. I'm an
people that just-
accelerationist.
Yeah,
because
like-
they'll keep grinding your cheese
Yeah,
until
yeah.
you tell. So there's like a thing where people are just like
They
they
just
make him keep
they
going.
make
The
him keep
whole
going.
thing is
The
just
whole thing is-
they use the whole block of cheese. It's just like they don't say no. Is are you sure? They just keep doing it. It's great.
Oh God.
It's fucking great.
You know how much what's crazy is as someone who grates my own Parmesan a lot, the amount of Parmesan you get from those is immense. Like you grate this much and you have like a barrel full of Parmesan. It's amazing how much you can get out.
What about if you grate a Baby Bell or like a whole bag of Baby Bells?
No, in Baby
If
Bells,
I had the patience, I wish I could tell you the answer, but I get really excited. I eat a lot of wax.
One
Is
of
what I'm
those
saying.
things that spins and drop one in there real quick and just see how quickly you can do it before it. But actually, fucking Play-Doh Fun Factory. Just pour it all over yourself. All right.
Oh,
Any great news from the election?
No. PA is leaning Trump, by the way.
he ain't leaning Trump. That's what you sound like. Right
I protected myself emotionally by predicting this.
Hey, at least you could be right, Heath. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
at least there's one thing.
Fuck.
It's like betting. It's like when you go to bet and you're like, I'm gonna bet on the Packers because I fucking hate them. And so when they win, I'll be like, fine, the fucking Packers
Then
won, but
the
I won
Lions
money.
fucking beat them.
Love
They
it.
did.
I just can't keep knowing true things and they're all bad. Like I just can't.
Nice.
Like I need to know some true things that are good. It's just occasionally, even by accident, wouldn't
You
that
could
be
just
okay?
stop knowing things entirely. That's a great way to do it.
It sucks that people.
Make America great again.
Very good. Very fun.
GRATE.
It sucks. It sucks that
Nice.
we're that they voted fucking Mark Robinson out, but people were still like, nah, no women.
Fuck.
They're like, yeah, fuck that black Nazi guy, but we're not gonna vote. We're not gonna vote for her. Sorry.
We're doing
Even we have
Nazis and
limits.
men.
Fuck. Just don't be the worst, America. Why are you the worst?
America's pretty bad, admittedly.
Fucking
pretty bad.
Jesus shit. Fuck.
Hey, okay, it's getting all sad. Can we talk about Donald Trump trying to open the door of a fucking garbage truck?
I didn't see the video. I read
Doing
about
a big
this. I didn't
swing
see
and a
the
miss
video.
19 times.
The video is awesome because he walks up and he's like, whoop up, and he totally almost falls down. He literally
you
almost
find this
falls
video?
down.
He was hoping for that to be a load-bearing grab of the door. And he doesn't grab the door. That was fun.
God.
You know what he looked like? Do you ever?
A fat old man.
I was a bartender for many years, so I've seen a lot of this. Do you ever see somebody trying to grab the straw with their mouth and missing for 6 minutes and stabbing themselves in the eye? It was like that with hands, which are much more dexterous generally.
This is like
There we
the
go.
worst
Here.
resolution,
Oh, God.
but here's. Oh.
No. I got it. I
He
got
finally
and this
makes
is-
it. He makes it.
There you go.
There you go.
Here we
Make
go.
sure you got your buddies underneath you to lift you up there.
It would have been great if they had to boost him by his butt, like push
Oh,
on
like
his butt
lift
to
him
like force him in. Fuck. Jesus.
King hell. Oh, wow.
What a strong, virile man that is.
All right.
Ugh.
Who's ready for another one?
I'm ready for another
Let's
one.
go.
We got a couple more.
Yeah.
Which came first?
Egg.
Trump's call with Zelensky,
Oh.
where he blocked a payment of congressionally mandated $400 million military aid to obtain a quid pro quo cooperation with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, or Trump visiting Puerto Rico and throwing paper towels at people.
No, I just
Jesus.
After
These
Hurricane
are-
Maria, when Trump visited the survivors
Holy
and
fuck.
to distribute supplies, he was throwing paper towels into the crowd. Which
I
one
think it was the
crazy.
Zelensky call.
Zelensky first?
no
Yeah.
way. No, it had to be the hurricane.
Hurricane was first.
Ah,
October 3rd, 2017. Zelensky was 2019.
oh, I was way off. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, because he got like nearly impeached.
nearly
but
impeached.
but
for
nothing.
it, but it's in.
So nearly.
It was close.
He also got impeached.
Hey.
Jump shot there.
Jesus,
I don't like his form.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I don't like his form. His elbow and his knee and his shoulder aren't lined up.
I feel like it would have been more realistic if he did like an underhand, where like the two underhands,
like the
to
granny
throw it.
basket
to
thing.
throw it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that would have been better.
just granny tossing.
Uh,
The
Okay.
needles are looking rough.
Needles look rough.
The needles
guys.
look rough, guys.
hate them.
So, are we accepting the results of the election
No,
necessarily?
like
Storm
you know,
Mar-a-Lago.
Storm Mar-a-Lago.
So, genuinely, I want Joe. Again, I hate putting things in the ether, but let's say hypothetical. If Trump wins this election, right? He gets to take over the White House on January 20th, 21st of next year, right?
Yeah.
I want Joe Biden to just be sitting there being like, come get it. See what you can do. I'm sitting in this Oval Office. You have to bite me out of it. Just Scranton Joe, dukes up, old school style boxing. Like,
Yeah,
Just a
Marcus of
septuagenarian.
Queens.
Joe
marriage.
reaches in his top drawer and pulls out his brass knuckles.
I'll tell you what, Joe just a few years ago would scrap.
Yeah.
I think
believe
Joe
it.
would scrap now. He was like a college football player. He's not. I mean, he's 81 now, but I think he would. I think he would kick Trump's ass in a fight for sure.
Do you?
Yeah.
He didn't look so good the last few times I saw him.
No, he's not a great talker, but that doesn't really matter in the fight as much.
I mean, he wasn't really much of a
neither-
shuffler either.
Yeah.
Like he was not.
I don't know a lot of great talking boxers, to be honest.
That's true.
So,
That's true. They're not known for their elocution.
that's super talky.
That is
Yeah.
very true.
That's super talky.
Are you gonna watch the Tyson Jake Paul fight?
Absolutely not.
Good man. I'm not either.
No, I don't care.
You can't pay for it.
The fucking hubbub on that when I open like my Google feed or whatever that just like pops up. It's like, you probably want to watch
Yeah,
this. I'm
everybody
like,
loses. I mean,
why do I
watch it?
want to watch?
And
I
that
was
guy's
gonna
gonna
say-
make so much money off of that.
That.
He's gonna make so much money off of that.
Ugh.
They're both gonna get.
How do
rich
you
off
can you root for two boxers to lose at the same
it.
time?
It can happen.
I've
Can
seen
they
that
double
happen.
KO like in Street
Yeah,
Fighter
it can.
2?
A double KO is possible.
Yeah, like the end of Rocky. It was one of the
enjoy that.
Rockies. I don't know which one it was, but they both throw the punch at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, no, Rocky loses the first one and then wins the second one. But yeah. The end is that like him and Carl.
Yeah.
Carl
I
Weathers
think it's
doing
the end of 3 when they're both like, "Come on, I haven't fought you in a while," and they're getting ready to train, and then they both throw.
They
the
both
punch
throw
and-
it. It's freeze.
Yeah, and he
frames or
goes
whatever.
ding, ding, right?
Yeah.
And then
Ding, ding. Yeah. All right, guys, which happened first? Owner of Red Hen refuses service to Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
Oh, they took away her cheese plate. That was the best.
because they said she was inhumane and unethical. And then the Trump administration basically attacked him. And then or Melania wears an "I don't care to you" jacket visiting a child migrant detention center.
Oh shit! I think it was the cheese plate first.
I want to believe it was the cheese plate second so that I can disagree with Heath.
Here's the thing, guys. Those things happened
Same
within 1 day of each other.
Really?
1 day. Sarah Huckabee Sanders, it's Melania on June 21st of 2018. Red Hen, June 22nd, 2018.
Oh, Tom, you got me by a day.
Yes.
Seriously.
And I
seriously,
knew the answer. And
within one day, there was 2 controversies.
Yeah.
That's why seriously, that's why our brains are garbage. now. It's because you can't intake the information and process
no matter
it,
what
contextualize it.
You can't.
You can't build a timeline.
When you look at the list of things that I could have put on here, it's like an entire, like, it's like a old-timey scroll.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Like, if you get put in a fucking, like, in a fucking tower, and every day you're being tortured, and then somebody comes back and says, "Hey man, which day did they pull out your toenails?" You'd be like, "I don't know, man. I can't remember if it was before or after the hot pinchers."
Yeah.
Everything kind of bleeds into a fresh hell together. That's just like, if all that ever happens is somebody pulls out your fucking toenails, you're like, that was a really unusual. I didn't see that coming.
Sucks.
You'd remember that. That'd stand out. Yeah. But for 4 years, it was like, all right, well,
every day
I'm going to fucking hit you in the nuts with a fucking
every
hammer.
Every day is the worst.
Yeah.
Every day is worse than the last.
Even if you just look at like the last 3 weeks of this campaign cycle, there'd be so many insane, ridiculous, long, you need to focus on it gaffes and insane, crazy, terrible things that the Trump campaign did or said, but they all happened. There's so many. It's like, you know, what's the term for in a debate? The Gish Gallop is where you like fire up. He's doing like a Gish Gallop of stupidity, and we can't keep track of all the stupidity, so we can't focus on individual ones enough.
Yeah, I've decided that they won't actually even write history books about this time, because they'll just be like, and then the darkness, and then that'll be it. Because like for Nixon, they'd be like, all right, we'll talk about Watergate. You'd be like, okay, we'll learn about Watergate. Like, what are you going to learn about? What, like, you would, if you spent like a week learning Watergate, or like, we're gonna have a test on Watergate, that would be reasonable. What would you do for the Trump administration? Just infinite blue books, just a never-ending stack of blue books, like, that just get handed to you. Just like start writing, your hand's a bloody claw, you're half finished.
Anybody who's got to teach this, anybody who has to teach this in school, just as they start, there's just a bottle of vodka. They just take a big pull every time they put a new slide up.
Jesus.
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude. It's I think you called it, like, when we first started, Tom, when we first started recording and you first started talking, you called it by saying America has a short memory.
Yeah.
And we forgot how bad a Trump presidency was, and how crazy it was, and how awful it was, and how divisive it was, and how much he used the government as a club, and how much at the end he learned how to use the government better. Like, like, that's what Project 2025 is all about, right? Mm-hmm. It's all about the fact that they figured out at the very end how to manipulate the government. And they have a plan now to come in and hit the ground running, manipulating the government, getting rid of tons of people, and turning the government into essentially a deep state. And they have a plan, right? But we forgot how bad it was. I think America collectively forgot how terrible it was, and they're all just like, no, man, we need change. We need a change. We need a change of what's happening in the Oval. And they forgot that what put us here was Donald Trump.
Yeah. We need a change from the, like, thriving economic victories we keep accumulating, right? Like, it's not all done and all better, but like, it's trending hard in that direction, and people are still just super fucking like pessimistic, because they're like, well, I mean, it's not solved.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not solved, but it's being solved. Like, that's not like,
yeah.
Did she flip Arizona? Somebody's saying she flipped Arizona.
Wait, Arizona's enough to
Arizona
call?
would be here. They're not even supposed to call that tonight.
That seems way early.
Yeah, it seems early.
No, she's just ahead in votes. I mean, that's not, I don't think
New Hampshire apparently is Harris.
Well,
cool. That doesn't matter.
Surprising.
That's
really.
Do they get like a quarter of an electoral vote? Like, what? Do they even have 2 senators? I don't even know if they're allowed 2 senators.
They are. They deserve 2 senators way more than fucking Wyoming.
Yeah. Okay. That's very true. That's very, very true. That's very true. Heath, man, thanks for hanging out with us for the whole night like this. This is great, buddy.
Yeah.
This is fun. We're having a good time. Everybody's having a good time.
So,
great.
Fun.
We'll see. I don't know. Maybe we'll get the greater of 2 evils. Who the fuck cares? It's fine.
It's all the same, right? Yeah.
What are you gonna do for your next pandemic? Any plan?
I think whatever we do, we should defund the people who handle it.
Hey, sure.
I've stocked up on sunlight and bleach. I'll be just fine. I'm not stupid. Ivermectin.
Colorado. Woo woo.
Yeah.
I know some people are watching from Colorado, so
Hell yeah.
go
Shout
Colorado.
out.
Colorado is colored up blue. I like
Yeah,
it.
Colorado's blue.
Good.
So,
All right.
I mean, it is nice to start because we will start getting some of those blue West Coast states.
Yeah.
We'll start getting some color on the map, and then it'll tighten down. But
All
you know,
right.
none of that actually matters.
Proud of Illinois and New York, and
Yeah.
New Jersey. Yeah, and a handful of others. Massachusetts, obviously.
Michigan's got a slight lead, 22,000 right now, only 21% reporting in, but
Mhm.
North
fuck,
Carolina.
300,000 is a big difference in North Carolina right now.
Yeah, North Carolina looks not great.
Virginia would be a big loss too. If Virginia goes red, I think that's the night too.
Yeah.
I think that would be a bellwether. I think you could call the night if Virginia goes red.
Do you think we get the House, given that it's really likely we lose the Senate? You think we get the
I think we
House?
lose them both.
I don't
Yeah.
think you can get a Trump presidency without a red wave. I think it's a red wave.
Totally agree. Yeah.
I think you can't get it.
Trumpers aren't splitting tickets.
They're
man.
not splitting tickets. The Trumpers don't split. I think they're definitely taking as much as they can. I thought for sure that people were done with that guy, but doesn't appear so. So
What do you think?
I think we get the House, we lose the Senate, we lose the White House. Sadly, if I really had to bet my money,
I like
on
it.
all those,
Look, if we get the
propositions.
House,
as long as there's one fucking form of, if there's one place that you can keep, then
if there's
one.
some obstructionary
There's some
channel,
obstruction, then you get a chance.
you need an
You
obstructionary
got to play
channel.
the same way they're playing, which is, you got to play obstruction.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
well,
then there's this
you
other
gotta
branch
try
of
to play
government
goalie.
that has no elections and it's fucked for because you should have voted for Hillary
I mean,
Clinton.
if the
Idiots.
if the Dems get the House too, that also protects against this theft through the House, right? So there's a possibility of an attempted theft through the House, which is what Trump was alluding to with his secret plan with Mike Johnson.
Yeah.
So that would have some protective insulative impact because the House gets sworn in before the results are certified.
Yeah.
So that would be good.
Some sort of protection in some way.
Yeah,
To sort of.
So that would be
Stay
huge. I
away
think
from
I
that,
like,
yeah.
Heath, I like that prediction. I don't know that I share that optimism, but I like that prediction.
About the House, you mean?
Yeah.
How's
Yeah.
Texas doing? Oh, +9 for Cruz. Gross.
Nice. Cruising to victory. 68% reporting.
How much of these really, really, really blue areas?
Oh, it'd be so great.
God, it would be
for Ted Cruz
amazing.
to lose.
Did you see the fucking debate between these two when Ted Cruz is up there snickering and Alward's like, "Don't laugh," and Ted Cruz immediately his asshole clenched. He was like,
Oh yeah, he was laughing about
laughing about
like,
January 6th.
death on January 6th was the
Laughing
context
about
at
it.
the moment of laughing.
Laughing
yeah.
about it. Thought it was
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah. Well, that piece of shit who when like Texas was in crisis went on vacation to fucking Mexico.
These are all terrible people.
Like
Why would
nothing
you
matters.
vote for that guy?
I don't know. Like I like this is the part of the world that like I feel not just helpless, but beyond an ability to understand. I've lost my ability to even like understand how these things are not disqualifying.
And when he did that go to Cancun thing during the, tragic stuff happening in Texas, obviously he's a senator. He's one of two senators in Texas. The state needs him at that moment. He leaves to go to Cancun. One of the, I know I'm like not focused on the important point, but to me, like emotionally, this matters. There was a picture of him very clearly being that guy who lines up near the gate too early and tries to shuffle in before his zone was called.
Try to
And
get
I was
on
like,
group
you're
2 when
gate
he's group
lice.
8.
Yeah, they're called gate lice, right? Yeah.
God, such a piece of shit. Also, politically, but like that, like airport etiquette, fuck.
91% of votes in Georgia, 3-point spread leaning Trump.
3-point spread still. And it's by, what is the total here? Couple 100,000. They're saying likely are. So I'm still interested to see. Oh, Gwynnett's come in. Oh, it's a lot closer than I thought it was. A lot of Gwynnett's already come in.
Hey, Virginia just flipped on NPR.
Oh yeah,
Virginia. What do you mean it flipped?
Well, it's 49.4 for Harris versus
Likely.
48.9, 67% voting or 67% in.
So are they calling it? You mean?
No, it's not called. It's just like light shade of blue. So, I mean, what is the mail-in ballot? Do you know anything about how that skews? Is that more Democratic typically, or
I mean, historically, and especially 4 years ago, skews very Democratic. But all those models that they're trying to sort of base it on this year, but they don't know exactly how much less to base it on that. Those predictions are kind of big volatilities. Everything I've heard and read. Yeah.
And how that takes like till late in the night, right? Or early tomorrow to actually count all those? Or is that
Illinois fucking jiggered their map and look at how many fucking blues there are.
Yeah, we can cheat too.
Illinois rolled in and was like, nah, bro, we're going to do a bunch of blue. It's so funny. That's straight Illinois too, man. It's so Illinois to fucking have like a cheater blue map.
It is.
It's so Illinois.
Illinois is corrupt as fuck.
It's fucking so corrupt. Like I would say, Tom, I don't think it's an exaggeration to say half the governors in my lifetime went to jail.
Listen, I would take Rod Blagojevich as like, you know, the governor of New York if the map was a little bit better district-wise, for sure. For sure.
Well, he got pardoned by Trump.
Yeah.
Blago got pardoned by Trump and then became a right-winger.
Wonder if he's going to be part of his administration.
Definitely.
Secretary of Commerce.
They could just be like weird hair buddies.
Everybody's passing him dollars. He's the secretary.
Wait, and now he's a Republican now?
Yeah,
he became a fucking right-wing nut job. He's like his fucking hair.
Does he have a job?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if he. For a minute, I thought he was going to be a pundit somewhere.
He's okay. He's like a podcaster. That's embarrassing.
Amazing.
Oh my gosh, he was an amateur boxer.
Blagojevich?
Yeah, he had an amateur boxing career which spanned 13 months.
Really?
Golden Gloves competition.
Really?
I'm looking at his Wikipedia.
That's what happened to his hair. Somebody punched him. Somebody punched him once, and his hair was like, poof.
Wow.
I have a friend of mine that took up boxing, boxed for 2 years, and won the Golden Gloves in his in Chicago in the Masters division or whatever. Yeah, he's just like, I want to try boxing, and he like boxed, and he's like, yeah, I won locally, and then the next year he's like, I'm going to try Golden Gloves, and he like boxed for 2 whole years, and he won the Golden Gloves Masters in Chicago.
Cool, that's awesome, man.
And he's like, yeah, no, I'm done boxing.
What weight class?
I don't remember. His name is Patrick Healy. He's a great dude. Like, he's a great guy. I really like him. Like, and he's just like, yeah, I'm just incredible. He's one of those incredibly athletic guys.
Yeah, some of those people are just incredibly athletic and they just like excel at everything they try.
Yeah. He was a D1 wrestler.
Yeah,
and,
those
like,
people just.
I worked out with him a couple times at CrossFit, and like when there was supposed to be like rest, he'd be like, I'm just gonna jump rope while you guys rest. He was like,
just a psycho.
Yeah,
just
a total
crazy person.
Yeah. His wife's like, okay, you're done boxing. You're gonna get fucking head injuries. And he's like, yeah, it makes sense.
You can watch those people who do the boxing or kickboxing or whatever. You can watch their early like interviews and shit, and then their later ones, and there is seriously a big difference.
Yeah, it turns out getting hit in the head real hard is bad for your head.
I'm surprised, Heath. I'm surprised more people aren't using those Guardian caps in the NFL. They're just doing it because of the toxic masculinity. Nobody's wearing it. That one guy in
what is a Guardian cap?
So you could put this like condom on the top of your head, and it's like padded. And so it lessens the chance you get a concussion.
Yeah, because of
under your helmet?
Over your helmet. It fits over. It's the same logo. Okay. So it's basically an image of your helmet over your helmet with it, but it's like crazy.
As I understand it, they came up with this idea long ago because, obviously, and the NFL was like, no, it doesn't make like a snappy enough noise when they smash heads, and we want the like snappy, cracky, like smash head noise.
Are you kidding, Heath?
No,
they wanted to sound like 2 rams butting against each other. They finally allowed it,
and
they didn't allow it
5 or 6 people
are
doing it now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's only like 5 or 6, and one guy who's gotten multiple concussions in Miami was asked by the people, be like, "Hey, you gonna do it?" And they're like, "Nah, I'm not gonna do it.
Nah, I want to kill my wife.
I'm not gonna do it."
Yeah, I want to go crazy and kill my
I'm gonna
wife.
kill myself.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's what happens, right? They go fucking crazy and like that has happened.
Yeah,
Not
they
crazy.
definitely go
Yeah.
crazy. They
Yeah.
definitely go crazy.
And they get sometimes
And
there's
they
violence involved.
oftentimes get suicidal.
Yeah.
All right,
it's crazy.
I'm going to do a thing. So you know how, Cecil, you know this. When you don't watch the Bears game, they lose more often, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to try to do a thing. I'm going to step away for a second. Stuff's going to happen. I think the opposite's going to happen. I think when I come back, good things will have happened because I'm predicting bad.
Yeah.
I go away. I don't look. I'm off the stream for just a little bit and I get more whiskey. And then I come back.
And then we'll see.
Something good happens.
Something good is going to happen while you're gone.
Hooray.
I believe it. You'll come back.
Hooray.
North Carolina will be bright blue.
Texas. Whoa.
Ian.
Almost got him. Almost got him.
I thought we had that.
Oh, Lord.
I love the unending terror of it. That's the part.
It's fun.
I definitely like, I 100% get like all that, but I also recognize too, like, I'm so sick of talking about him. I just don't want to talk about him anymore.
True.
I know.
I just want to fucking move on with my life.
Yeah, it would be really good to just have some normalcy.
Yeah,
and
it
not
would be
this
awesome to have some normalcy. But you're gonna
insanity.
what you have is a country, I think, that has a short memory and they want change, and they're gonna get it.
Yeah,
they're gonna get it, and it could be that you get it in a lot of different.
They're gonna fucking get it, all right,
for sure. So, Path of Exile season, how's that going? I quit a couple weeks in. Most of the time that happens, I quit a couple weeks in. I get bored with the season and then I wait for the next one to come out, but they're not coming out with another one for another long time because they're releasing Path of Exile 2, so it's going to be a while. So I'm not playing it. I'm playing Satisfactory. That's what I'm playing.
Oh, that's good.
That's a
fun
game. Satisfactory.
Yeah. It's a game. It's a factory building game. It's fun.
Oh, that sounds cool.
It's goofy and like it's like world building. It's a hoot. It's like, and it's really like chill. It's like a super chill game that I can like listen to books and play at the same time.
Right.
So like if I want to just unplug for a while, I can listen to an audiobook, I can play this Satisfactory game, and I can just like get away from the world for a little while, and it's really relaxing.
That's awesome.
Nice. That's really nice. That's why I like finding games that I can just unplug with. Completely unplug and not have to think about. Games that have too much, like gearing or that sort of thing are actually a little more difficult for me because like my brain wants to do all the stats and all that stuff. And like, I concentrate too hard on some of those games and they're not as relaxing for me. And that's why Path of Exile only lasts a couple weeks because it's a really intensive game about gearing and, making sure your skill tree is perfect and all that. And then you're kind of stressed out about it. And then I'm just like, well, I'm not having fun now. So I'm just going to quit. And so like I quit after a certain point. But the other games that are like laid back, those are kind of my favorite sort of things to do.
Yeah, where you can just kind of just make easy decisions.
Easy decisions and just constantly like just sort of like tune out and then like constantly like, you're just moving around in the world and shit like that. That's a hoot. That's fun.
Oh, that's cool.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
What about you, Ian? What are you playing?
Just Russian roulette. Is that a?
Oh, come on now.
Too soon. What was I playing? Black Myth Wukong.
Oh, I hadn't played that.
Cool.
Is it like that other game, that really hard game?
Dark Souls.
Yeah.
It's easier than Dark Souls, and it's much more linear. But it's a lot of fun. That one's really fun.
So I played when I was a kid. I used to play this. Gosh, I can't think of what it's called. They made a mech game. Whatever that company has made a mech game.
Oh yeah.
Armored Core.
Yes.
And I go out and buy. So there's these games called these Dark Soul games, Tom, and I'm sure you've seen images.
I've seen
of
images from them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're like really, really difficult games to play because you got to like master the thing and like know exactly how they're going to do. And you got to like dodge at the perfect moment. And like, you got to hit at the perfect time. And it's a lot.
No button mashing.
It's like, yeah, I mean, you can't just button. You got to know what you're doing, right? Like you got to be really good at it. And so it's not for me. That's like a game. I'm too old. My hand-eye coordination isn't what it used to be. I also don't care. At a certain point, like when I was younger, I had like a stubbornness where I'd be like, I'm going to beat this. Now I'm just like, fuck you. I'm like, I'm not playing that. So I don't play it. But like a lot of people like this type of game. Well, I go out and I buy Armored Core and it looks like a mech game. And I'm like, I like mechs and that's fun. So I'm playing it a little bit. And it's kind of the first couple levels are and it basically is exactly the same thing. It's like this like really intense like boss fights. And I played like 2 of them and I beat them. And then after that, I was like, I am not playing this game. I literally uninstalled it. I paid like $70. It's like, yeah, I played like maybe an hour worth of the game. And then I was just like, nope, uninstall, not interested. You got my money. Good on you, but I'll never buy another Armored Core game. Oh man, I don't know. That sucks getting old. What are you gonna do?
I think I've had that experience with most guys. I've just been like, I'm not a coordinated guy. So like when I play games, I find them just more frustrating than anything else.
Yeah.
So I think that's why like they never clicked for me. Cause I'd be like, this is just hard. It's just hard all the time.
Yeah.
Like, how are you doing good? Like, everyone's doing good. I'm doing bad.
I think I've sort of fallen into like for a while I was doing strategy games because strategy games don't really give you a turn.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then you're just like, cool, well, I'll move this guy over here and do this. And then that guy shoots this guy and then turn starts and then their turn. And then you get to do the same thing. And so there's that sort of constant back and forth.
I like Civilization for that.
And reason. And Civilization's a very good example of that. And there's other games like that out there that are very similar in that vein. Civilization's still going strong. Civ 6, I think it was the latest one. So.
I play a game. I play a Civ. There's a Civ on the phone that you can play that I've played before.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's okay. It's pretty good. I've played through it.
All right.
Somebody in the chat say Balatro. I know that's like popping off. Somebody's in the chat, I think. It's like solitaire and poker mixed together somehow. Chatter, say something.
Well, Virginia's looking very likely D, but Georgia's looking very likely R. I'm surprised. Although I was down in Georgia like a couple weeks ago, and all the commercials, almost every commercial break, there was 2 or 3 Trump commercials. They did a really good job of making sure the TV was plastered with Trump. And it was 2 major ones. One of them was an anti-trans one that they were showing all the time. And the other one was an immigration one, a bunch of lies about immigration.
Awesome.
So
just awesome. Yeah. Good. You know, like
I couldn't watch the World Series because of it. It was like exhausting to watch the World Series because it was just back and forth.
Because the game was too intense.
Commercial. And then, well, the Yankees lost, most importantly. But yeah, it was just dumbass commercial and then a comic commercial and then a lie about immigration and then a comic commercial and then a lie about trans people and then a comic back and forth.
Oh, it's so bad. And then that guy pulled that ball out of the guy's mitt.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah.
So one of the players for the Dodgers runs up, jumps into the stands and catches a ball. Well, one of the fans for the Yankees holds his arm and rips the ball out of it. Yes,
true
he did.
Hero.
Yeah. Hero.
What happens to the play?
He caught the ball. I think
the umpire calls the out. Yeah.
He called it. But they threw the guy out, and then they gave his tickets to a little kid with cancer the next day. So they took his tickets away. They told him he couldn't come back, and they gave his tickets to.
I can't believe he did that.
Kid. Yeah.
That's as bad as that guy. Like, remember that Cubs fan that
guy didn't do anything wrong.
Bartman? He just caught a ball, right?
Yeah, Bartman. Yeah,
he
got his life ruined because of that. Like, he got his life ruined because of that catch.
Jesus Christ!
He had to move away from Chicago. He had to move out of Chicago because of that.
That's unbelievable.
He's in like witness protection.
Yeah, like they put him in like like the Blues Brothers took him outside and just drove him over state lines in the dark with sunglasses.
Wait, were you guys talking about Balatro?
I wasn't.
Yes.
Ian was.
I think
Ian
was.
Ian, you're a Balatro fan? That's a fun game.
Yeah, no, I heard that it's like popping off, and chatters were saying the same thing.
What is
it?
Is
they're playing it right now.
Balatro is super fun. Yeah, it's a deck builder based around poker. So you're building a deck to do like weird stuff to poker hands and trying to get the highest score. And there's like extra jokers that you can get that like change the effects of different cards in your hand and the scores of each type of hand and each card itself. It sounds kind of dry unless you're like a big poker person, which I am, but it's weirdly fun. Yeah.
Is it you play on the computer?
You can play on most of the platforms. I got
iOS,
as a gift a Steam Deck, and that's where I was playing it.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's cool. I kept Finn kind of oscillated on whether he wanted one of those or not, and I kept looking at it for him, but he always pulled back at the last minute and want something different instead. But those look cool. Those things look really cool.
Yeah, those things are neat. Circle has one. That's cool.
Does he?
That's pretty neat. You know, I guess sit at your on your couch and play some of your computer games is pretty dope.
Yeah.
What do we do, man?
Hey, I think we're gonna finish our game.
Awesome happened. Did my thing work?
Yeah,
No, nothing
Let's
happened.
finish out the game. Let's finish out the game.
All right.
I have 2 more questions. You guys ready?
Yep.
Which happened first? Trump tried to buy Greenland, comparing the idea to a large real estate deal and suggesting the island would strategic value the United States, or Trump suggests nuking hurricanes. Trump reportedly discussed nuking hurricanes headed into the United States. I got it. Here's a quote. Quote, I got it. Why don't we nuke them? According to an unnamed source who is present. Quote, we drop a bomb inside the eye of the hurricane and it disrupts it. Why can't we do that? End quote. Which happened first?
I think it was trying to buy Greenland from he didn't know, but Denmark. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's the other way around. I think I wanted.
So again, really tough one because they were only 6 days apart.
What is happening, Cecil?
Only,
that's not even a week. That's not even a week in the same week.
They were in the same calendar week.
So during the same meeting, basically, he was like, I want to buy Greenland. Also, let's nuke the cloud.
Wow.
Wow.
So that happened. So so it was a week. They both happened in August of 2019. One on August 19th. That was Greenland. And then less than a week later, he tried to nuke hurricane. I'm going to show you guys a picture. So this picture is of when Trump went to Saudi Arabia and touched a glowing orb. I can't share it on. I can't. Oh, maybe I could put. I can share it on the big screen. The big screen.
What was it?
So there we go. So this
my God.
I don't remember this one. This is Trump touching a big orb with other leaders in. Or so that happened first, or Trump stares directly into the sun during an eclipse.
I think the eclipse was first.
Which glowing orb?
I don't remember.
Which glowing orb was first? Tom?
I think
the sun or the glowing orb in Saudi Arabia.
I'm gonna go the Saudi Arabia because I don't even remember that event.
I think it was the eclipse.
So Saudi Arabia happened in May of 2017. The eclipse was in August of 2017.
Oh, you got me again.
I didn't even.
I don't know who
the
won.
one happened.
I'm not really good at keeping track. Kind of like the United States election. So that was my quiz, guys. That was my quiz.
Is there any chance you have a photo of Mike Pence touching the NASA thing where it says right next to his hand, "Don't fucking touch it"?
Yeah, I remember that.
Whatever you do, don't fucking touch this.
Here's what's fucking crazy. Do you know who we're gonna miss? Mike Pence.
Oh, the voice of reason. Yeah. Mike Pence. That was awesome.
We actually are. We're very likely to enter into a world where we're like, God, if only we had Mike Pence. Because I remember growing up and being like, there's no way I'm ever going to remember fondly George W. Bush. And I don't. But I'm also like, man, you remember when the world was only as crazy as George W. Bush? You know? And now I'm like, man, you guys remember Mike Pence?
There it is.
That was awesome.
Do not touch.
He's like almost touching the word do not touch.
He's such an idiot.
Wow.
Fucking shit.
Vice President.
Bro. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, so I feel like at least Mike Pence, if somebody was like, hey, have you ever fucked a couch? He'd be honest. He'd be like, yeah, I fucked a couch.
Yeah, I fucked a couch, but I asked my wife's permission first.
Well,
my wife was in the room.
I have
with
to
me,
be in the room.
I can't be in a room with a love seat. My wife won't let me do it.
Oh God. How much longer do we stick around?
I don't know.
What
man.
do we do?
I say we go about another 5 minutes. We say goodbye to everybody. We crash out because I'm getting tired.
I'm getting tired too. Nothing's gonna happen.
Nothing's gonna happen tonight.
We're not gonna know shit about fuck.
We're almost certainly gonna lose both Georgia but Virginia's looking good.
Virginia
still.
looks
and
good.
Who knows about Pennsylvania? Pennsylvania and Michigan and Wisconsin could change this whole thing. Could change the whole landscape.
Tom, would you like to bet $1 American on our predictions?
Yep.
And I cannot wait to lose my $1 American.
Yep. I will bet that American dollar.
I will deliver it to you. I will have a really cool costume. There will be music. There will be dance numbers. I will be so contrite.
Look, it can happen. It can still happen. And as long as it can happen,
don't lose hope.
I am
still happen.
Look, North Carolina was always a reach. Yeah. Repeating Georgia was always a reach. The Rust Belt states were the best hope.
Yeah.
They were always the best.
And a lot of these states did their very best to make sure that it was very difficult to vote for a lot of different types of people that they didn't want to.
I don't think they did. I don't think they did. I think they didn't do their best. I feel like people didn't do their best. People say that and they're liars.
Heath is just so full
I know what the numbers are. The numbers are there's like 20 million more registered Democrats than Republicans in this country, something like that. We have the numbers. We don't get the numbers. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
Here's something that, like was very controversial when it happened. Kamala deciding to run and Biden stepping down was a pretty controversial thing when it first happened.
Yeah. I've totally flipped my opinion on that. My initial instinct was absolutely wrong.
I was happy. Yeah.
I was convinced that the party wouldn't do well with figuring out who's next.
The party did a great job of following her. I will say
Kamala Harris deserved to be next. And it was announced and Biden was like, I'm putting all my support behind Kamala Harris. And everybody jumped in lockstep. Yeah. I was shocked by that. I was 100% wrong. I predicted the opposite and I was very skeptical. But now I'm obviously excited. I think she's got a better shot. Like if this was Biden right now, it would look worse if
we'd all be home.
I think you're right. I think I don't think that there can be anyone on the other side of that who still thinks Biden would have been better, especially after seeing how well she did leading up to this. I think she ran the best campaign she could have in the short amount of time she had.
Yeah, in the 6.5 hours she got to be a candidate.
The short amount of time she ran the best campaign she could.
Done a great job.
Yeah.
I think we should get rid of primaries too now. Like this
the primary season. Tom and I were talking about this. It's really just a time to tear people down.
We just infight and fuck it up for people, including Kamala Harris 4 years ago.
Yeah. The primary thing, people are confused. They think that they have a constitutional right to a primary. And it's like, no, it's not. You don't. It's not how that works.
Will say
we should have ranked choice voting.
1,000%.
Yeah, I make it so that like you're not being a spoiler when you want to vote for like Bernie Sanders or whoever, if they're not the main two-party candidate. But like, absolutely, I do trust political experts in the Democratic Party to pick the best candidate more than I trust the people of the Democratic Party to vote for the best candidate.
And you're picking two different people. You're picking a person that is going to do well with Democrats versus a person who's going to do well with undecideds and the other people you're trying to win over. It's two different races. It kind of doesn't make sense. Yeah. And actually, I had a person I was talking to recently on a Lawful Assembly podcast that I did. There's a woman who we talked about. She's an expert on polarization. And she said one of the ways to get out of this really deep polarization that United States finds itself in, where, like all of us are just like fucking pulling our hair out because, we're on the losing side again. Basically, one of the ways to get out of it is to do ranked choice voting, because candidates have to throw a broader net. They have to throw a broader net. They have to appeal to a larger group of people. And that changes how people vote. And it winds up and you also have to do a better system where more representation comes from people who win these things that, are different parties that aren't specifically, Republican or Democrat in the House. So you have to have a way in which for those, Green Party candidates to get in and have a small caucus in the House, so that they can get some of their policies in, or some of these really progressive groups. And, you're going to have also some really conservative groups, but I think for the most part, you're going to have a better system where people can actually, cross the line in some ways and work together. What we have right now is just an isolationist, restrictionist system that doesn't work.
We have a fucked up game that forces you to do things that don't actually capture the desires of the voters correctly and, granularly, which we should have. I will say, though, the way to get that is Democrats being in power at the moment. That's just, there's one party of the two major parties that is doing any sort of like proposing a bill that would give us ranked choice voting.
Yeah.
I'll give you two guesses which one it is. So in order to make these types of progressive changes, we have to like win within the current system before we get to that point, because there's a system. It is what it is. You don't get to like reject the is. It's bad and true.
All right. Well,
All right, guys.
I think we're gonna wrap it up. It's almost 10 o'clock. It doesn't look like anything's gonna be said or done tonight. It looks like it's gonna be a long night, everybody. So we're gonna wrap it up. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, Heath, if people are gonna find you, where would they look?
Oh, check out a number of different podcasts. We have podcasts, by the way. It's pretty exciting. That's my job. Check out The Scathing Atheist. Citation needed, of course, with all three of us and two other delightful people, Eli and Noah. Check out The Skeptocrat, where I was lying to all of you to try to trick you into doing the right thing. Like it felt like I was asking for anal. I was just like I was being shy. I was
okay,
like, hey,
audience, I just need you to back up into me, audience. Just back up into me.
You relax.
If you just, I don't know, if you don't mind, if you get a chance, just maybe fight back. The greater of two evils is worse. Yeah. But so The Skeptocrat, if I haven't made you turn this entire thing off and never listen to anything I say again, check out The Skeptocrat. And check out God Awful Movies and check out D&D Minus. Those are all podcasts. We'd love it.
Awesome. Thank you so much
thanks,
for joining
buddy.
us.
Yeah, we
Heath.
appreciate
we love you,
man.
bro. Thank you for hanging out with us. Even in misery, we still had a good time. Thanks so much, buddy.
Thanks for having us. It's gonna be great. America. USA.
Let's
I'm
play
gonna
Heath
want my
off.
dollar.
We got a song to play
We
Heath
got a
off
song to
with.
play us out. He's
I'm
play
gonna
us
want
out.
my dollar.
Economy. Yes.
Because we love our country, we love it just like you. Oh my God, I will vote.
Okay,
Yeah.
I hate
will.
this. I hate this.
I seriously
will
hate
vote
this, and I
for
kind of
Donald.
hate you.
Come on, y'all.
That's enough.
If we just say we voted for Trump, it's okay
I
now.
want you to hear me.
Huh?
This gets stuck in my head. I'm
It's
driving
already
to Connecticut.
in your head. It's in
I'm-
your head. I guarantee you will be humming it.
I will not stop all night. I'll drive.
I'll
Tom
put
and
it-
I will
I'll
tag
send
team.
it to you.
We will tag team the drive.
Yeah.
Don't
He and
worry,
I
I'm
will
going to
tag
put it in the
team the drive.
Patreon feed.
No
We
problem.
will
Right,
make
patrons?
it there tonight.
You're going to get it
I
for
will make
free.
you eat a whole brick oven pizza.
Oh, Lord.
Are we on the air still or off the air?
Yes,
No,
no, we're on
the
the air.
We're still on the air. Okay.
Sorry.
Ian, very quickly, can I ask you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I enjoyed when you were jumping in on a very controversial topic.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No, I genuinely, I don't mean that sarcastically at all. It sounded like, correct if I'm wrong. It sounded like we were talking about how we see this issue, and then we landed on all four of us. In fact, okay, but the best move is to vote for Kamala Harris. Is that correct?
For us, yeah.
Okay, so all the people in the chat who were like, I agree with Ian, they were not really understanding exactly what was happening.
Well, no, I think you're straw manning it a bit.
Well, no.
think you're
Did you not
strawmanning
just
a
land
bit.
on, okay, the correct answer is,
But I wasn't
is what
talking
I
about
think?
me. I'm not talking
It's
about
time
me.
to go.
I think
All
we should
right.
go. I'm not talking about us, people
I
like us.
fucking love Heath. That's
Here
so
we go.
great.
Wow.
I'm gonna
Just-
move this
just
over.
so everybody
and when
knows
I-
you were stupid and wrong.
When
Okay.
when I stop streaming here, it'll be great.
And
All right.
Hillary was definitely a great candidate to run. Definitely was perfect. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm
Bye,
ending it.
everybody.
Bye.
Cheers,
Here we
everybody.
go.
Yeah, no, it was totally worth the Dobbs decision.
It was totally worth